Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, we have to talk about it. It's dire straits out here in these streets. Run for your lives, ladies and gentlemen. Assets that pay you is needed ASAP. There's no way around it. Just because you think everything is based on the stock market, that, ladies and gentlemen, is smoke and mirrors. Only investors need to worry about the stock market. Main Street, who's living paycheck to paycheck, who do not have assets, who do not have stock market, anything, 401ks that's based on the stock market. Index, not funds, index life insurance. You might care about the stock market. Mortgage rates, you might care about bonds in the stock market. But other than that, it doesn't leave much of many people caring about the stock market because they're not in it. Top 10% own 93% of the stock market. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know what is going to happen within this live stream. That's right. Sometimes it gets ugly. Sometimes it's not. You just never know what's going to come out because the chat room is wide open. If you want to have some part of this discussion, it's open to everybody. We welcome everyone because we need everyone for the rising tide that lifts all boats. Because we can't have a nation of 60%, 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck and only the top 20% that's going to be well off. Let them eat cake. Not on my watch, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to win because that is the key, the American way. Everybody comes over. Everybody works hard. Everybody can succeed until now. And again, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you smash that like button just in case the YouTube gods don't know that you're watching. Post-retirement travel, who just came back from his worldwide tour, ladies and gentlemen, just temporarily. He's going to go back on his worldwide tour in a matter of a few weeks. But another investor's here. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline, hello all, let's do this. And some of you may come in late. Okay, I was a little late myself. And because I was on mute, I had to do a replay. But don't worry. In post-production, some of you are going to be going, hey, what's he talking about? He just started this. No, I've done this twice now, but I was on mute. And now I'm finding out we're live. We're hot. And yes, I'm hot. Like I said, see, he says, Eric, you're muted. That was a little while ago. Post-retirement travel says, now we can hear you. And EV Place, another investor, business owner in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. EV Place, post-retirement travel, myself, and a few of you who are watching. Were you doing the salsa dance today? Did you see those dividends from PLTY, SMCY? I know a lot of you were doing the salsa dance. You were like, oh my, some more free shares of stock. That's how it's supposed to work when you reinvest. Get more shares, more money down the line, potentially later. You gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, it's the stock market. It's being played right now, and I'm enjoying every freaking bit of it. Because when somebody comes out and says, we have trade agreements, when it's actually framework of an agreement, concepts of an agreement, I'm like, oh my, I love what's about to happen. And today, what happened? The stock market went down. You know why I get excited? Because if you own option income trading funds, people are exiting, people are buying, and they're paying these fees and premiums and all that. So next month or next week, we're going to have nice dividends. As long as they're similar to the ones we've been receiving, I'm happy. And that also means your dollar cost average can go lower. So, this is what happened today. Were you paying attention? Maybe it went below your dollar cost average. And by the way, these guys, because the stock market went low today and we're doing the salsa dance when we're doing the reinvesting automatically, oh my, it was at a lower price than it was on Thursday. I'm here for it. EV Place, once again, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline. Good evening, everyone. Just heard notifications. Crazy bing, bing, bing. Exactly. They went off a little late today. And I was like, hold up. What's happening? Did something go on? No, nothing went on. It was just dividends came calling. And I had to love it all the way. And I want you guys to love it as well. So, what does that mean? Well, let me go find some. This is funny because I was doing a few things this afternoon, got a little bit behind. My mind is a little tweaked right now. I got a lot of things on my mind because I'm seeing some things that seem to me to be unnecessary. People losing lives in a floodplain area with no notifications that the river rose, and I'm like, how is this possible in America? Well, then I come to my senses. I'm like, oh, wait, we do live in a third world country. What am I talking about? Of course this would happen. Of course they're not going to spend the millions of dollars to make sure you have some sort of notification when the river rises past freaking 10 to 15 feet. Okay, so what are we going to do, ladies and gentlemen? You're going to sit here and watch the bad parade go by? The marching band is off key. The twirlers are all dropping their batons and then saying at the end, I don't know what happened. Well, maybe you should have brought the best people up here in the first place. But anyhow, let's get down to it. Because again, you better get your behinds into assets. Now, first things first, let's get into business, shall we? Because I'm doing the live stream. And you guys know I do like the stock market in its present configuration. Let's get to business. We already have the government helping corporations, the rich. They own the corporations. The corporations are an extension. All of them are getting free taxpayer money with tax cut tax breaks. You do understand they are going to use that free money to buy more of their shares of stock. They are waiting on Mr. Jerome Powell and the Board of Governors at the Fed to reduce the interest rate, because then they're going to go on a buying spree. You need to be involved. Anytime you have a down market day and it goes below or near your dollar cost average, you should be going with a salsa dance. You should be breaking out the champagne because your future is going to be a lot brighter in the next 1 year, 5 months. After that, all bets are off. So you're going to make this profit, and it depends on you at that point if you're going to hang around at that rocket ship, how long. Because sooner or later, the thrusters get turned off. And unfortunately, no parachutes unless you deploy yours already before the rockets boosters get turned off. That's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Down below in the description box, I got a few things for you. A lot of you, the first thing I'm going to say, Just like people right now in Texas, you could use findhelp.org. That's nonprofits that would help people that are in need. Put your zip code in. Do you think FEMA's coming? I'm not seeing too many FEMA people showing up to give people their first initial $700 so they can go stay somewhere for a few days. I'm not seeing that. All right. It's 4 days, 3 days later. I'm not seeing the FEMA guys there. I'm not seeing any help. Just citizens are over there helping right now. This just tells you you might be on your own. Now, down below in the description box, get to the points. You need help. Findhelp.org is not in the description box, but what is? A lot of you have credit. I'm going to keep saying this for the next 1 year and 5 months. A lot of you have bad credit. A lot of you have good credit. It does not matter. Do you want your debt reduced, restructured, just like a rich guy? Well, you can go to resolvefinance.com. That's Tracy at resolvefinance.com. You hit her up on email. Let her know SSN Nation sent you. Eric Familia sent you. It does not matter. Just go over there if you need some help to restructure your credit. Not filing bankruptcy. I said just what the big boys would say. Just what our president says. Jerome Powell isn't reducing the interest rate on the Federal Reserve rate, so therefore we're going to have a problem with restructuring our USA debt. Does that help it for you? Go down and get your debt restructured if your debt is out of whack. See Tracy at resolvefinance.com. You know what else? I'm going to put this in the chat room. EV Place. I didn't even give the tagline tonight. I got excited. I got too excited. But he did say, good evening, everyone. Just heard notifications. Crazy. He did give his tagline. All right. Here in the chat room, you want the email, ladies and gentlemen? Here you go. Here you go. I put in the chat room, Tracy at Resolve Finance. Hit her up. That'll restructure your personal debt. Not business, personal. All right. That's one way to do it. So then in 2 years, in your 1 year, 5 months that you got, and actually I always give you guys a window for the reality of the situation is you're going to have more than 1 year, 5 months. But I need you guys to have your credit score at 775 in 1 year, 5 months. And I need you guys to have passive income coming in. And I need you guys to buy assets. That's what I need you guys to do. I don't want to leave you behind. I want you guys to be up there too. So come on, get with the program down below in the description box. What else do we have? We have stocks. If you still do not have a brokerage account, I got 3 for you down there. Robinhood, simple. Webull, nice as well. Moo, a little different. But all 3 are brokerage accounts. All 3 you can open up and get free shares of stocks as a bonus. So go over there, show some love. It's an affiliate link, of course. We're demonetized, by the way, because I talk like this, unfortunately. We're demonetized. They don't like me talking about government and what we should be doing and all that. Mr. Spellers in the house. Robert T. Spellers here. A friend of mine, ladies and gentlemen. High school friend of mine, which is awesome. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And this man right here also is in the financial industry via bookkeeper accounting in San Francisco Bay Area. But as you guys know, it's the internet these days. You can always get his help anywhere in the United States simply by going to, you know where to find him? I know you do not. You go to LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen, and he goes by his name. Easy to find him. There's only a few Spellers, Junior, Robert in the world. Go see him, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get your accounting in order, especially if you're on the internet trying to get your bookkeeping and accounting in order electronically. This is the man you go see. But anyhow, very nice to see you. Spell, welcome again. He brings a tagline, going to have to get one of those hats. Hey, man, this is it. The SSN Nation way. I rarely have worn it over the last year or two. I didn't realize I had it. I found it up in the bag because I keep hats in a bag and I was using other ones. I said, I got to break this out again. You know where to get these. StopStrugglingNow.com, ladies and gentlemen. All SSN Nation gear, the hats, the shirts, the hoodies. That's where you go buy them. All right. Robert Speller, thank you, man. Nice merch. Thank you so much. There we go. Appreciate it. Glad to see you. And once again, go to LinkedIn. Go look up Robert Speller Jr. You'll find him on LinkedIn, the accountant. You got a business. You want to change over from one electronic bookkeeping system to another. He's the man. You guys want to get something done with your business or personal, he's the man. He's in the Bay Area, but that doesn't mean anything. He's still the man electronically over the internet. And phone calls are fine as well. So anyhow, go show some love, especially when he's my man. Can you guys imagine knowing somebody for like 40, 50 years? I'm just saying. Crazy. Crazy. Thank you again, Spell, for your support. Brian P., Mr. Dividends here. I know you got a big cheesy smile on your face. I know you're sitting there going, I can't believe it, after you're looking at your phone, going, oh my God, this is outrageous. I'm getting all this dividend money. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Brian P., Mr. Dividend. Don't let them fool you with the nice little icon. This guy has like thousands of shares of Yield Max ETF stocks. And some of these stocks are paying, like this last Thursday, Friday, $1, $1.20, $1.30, $1.40 a share. You guys can start thinking, wait, is he talking about $1,400, $1,200, $1,000 for the week? Well, yeah. How about a few, ladies and gentlemen? That's right. So give some respect to Mr. Brian P. and everybody else that's up in here. We got investors in the house, business owners in the house, real estate owners in the house. It's all. And guess what? Who doesn't have that? Don't feel bad. We all have to start somewhere. That's why, if you have any questions, our chat room is open for everybody. It's because, again, rising tide lifts everybody. Because when you have somebody doing mayhem around the world to mess up their own citizens, you're going to need a lifeline. Well, we got it for you. The chat room's open. Make sure you use it if you have any questions. We're happily here. Brian P. brings his tagline, Happy Day, Eric. I know it is, man. We're doing that salsa dance. I hope all is well with you. It is. It's going. Happy Day, SSN family. Smash that like button. Bingo. We got paid tonight. Exactly. You gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. And like we were talking about SMCY, PLTY, everybody should be doing the salsa dance. Over $1. I think they're over $1. I didn't even look. I think they're over $1 per share. So, I mean, 50 shares, $50, 50 shares might have cost you, I don't know how much 50 shares would cost. I do know 50 shares of PLTY is going to cost you 50 times 60, roughly $3,000. But if you're getting $50 every month and ends up being $600 every year, I mean, 20% plus on your money plus a little more. I mean, that's pretty cool. But it ends up being like 40 or 50. It gets kind of crazy. Go check it out. Links are down below. Just so you guys know, again, if you have not helped yourself with the stock market, it's down below. Remember your credit. You don't want high credit, ladies and gentlemen. You want credit, but you want to keep it dormant. You want to keep it low amounts owed. Just use it every now and then, because in about 2 years, you're going to have opportunities of a lifetime. And those who have assets that you can borrow against, or where you're getting passive income, you'll be able to pick up some things for pennies on the dollar. All right. Even Jerome Powell will not be able to save us this time, because we already know what's going to happen next 2026, February or March. He's going to be replaced. That's right. He's going to be replaced. And I'm scared to see who the unqualified individual is going to be, who's going to do something silly, such as reduce the Federal Reserve rate after the US dollar is going to be obliterated, that's going to be dangerous. After more tariff wars continue, that's going to be a problem. But don't worry, you're getting assets that pay you. In the only casino that really matters, the stock market, ladies and gentlemen, just stay in that game because you know who the top 10% are not going to let it fall. They're going to do everything in their power not to lose their money. Can you imagine if the stock market went down like 40%, 50%? This would be a wipeout of epic proportions. Can you imagine these guys can't go up to space whenever they want to, can't go throw $20 million marriages in Venice? Can you imagine? Can't blow up rocket ships trying to go to where? It would be Armageddon. Can you imagine? It'd be just like the Great Recession. Banks going, oh, help me, taxpayers, please. Can you imagine? Except this time, taxpayers won't be helping because damn near everybody's going to be broke. Except for you, ladies and gentlemen, who's watching this live stream. Y'all won't be because you're listening to the man, the team that's here tonight, and some things to think about, such as next time you leave this country and go on vacation, you should find out the laws if you, as a U.S. citizen, can open up a bank account. So next time you go out of this country, not in a U.S. territory, I'm talking about to another country that you need a passport for. Next time, you should ask, can I open up a bank account here? What's the requirements? The requirements are generally the same: passport, another ID, tax returns. Come on now, they all joined up with the United States, who's made the rest of the world, 200 countries, sign an agreement that they can keep track of American citizens. But don't worry about none of that. You still need to have offshore presence. So bring your tax return, bring your W-2, bring your LLC paperwork that shows you're authorized owner of the LLC, front page or whatever. You got it? Just keep it on you. What's the problem? Or keep it in your email, PDFs or files, so then when you get there, you can send it to them. So that way you have it on standby. That's what I used to do, ladies and gentlemen, when I was traveling all over the world. I'm stopping right outside the airport. We went through the tunnel in Australia, in Sydney. Some of the driver said, oh, man, I got to stop at the ATM at the bank. I was like, oh, really? I roll in the bank. Hey, I need to open up a bank account. They're like, yeah, but you're from USA. Yeah, exactly. They're like, why? Because if I come back, I got a bank account, don't have to worry about nothing. And plus the fact my money's here instead of in the USA. What's the problem? No problem, sir. Sit right here, sir. Open up your bank account, sir. So these are the type of things you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. You can open up a bank account in a lot of places. They like US dollars. Let's get real. All right. Those are some of the things you're going to need to do. Think about it, and think about real estate and a business in another country as well that's not in the USA jurisdiction. That's all I can give you right now. This is yet to be determined. What more can we do? Well, what more can we do? BizBuySell.com. I know some of you said, hold on, let me get this pen, pad, and paper ready. BizBuySell.com. The reason why you go to BizBuySell.com is because there's businesses that are for sale. All kind of businesses. It could be a food truck business. It could be a dry cleaners. It's a bunch of different things. It could be a restaurant mostly, because restaurants are hard to operate. Of course, people want to hit the eject button and leave. But don't go with restaurants. High risk, high reward. High risk is the key there, ladies and gentlemen. Especially, you're going to have to pay people livable wages. They can never come in if they don't want to. Come on now. You got to get into something that people need, a service people need. So regardless of climate, with regard to if we're in a recession or not, people are still going to come. Hospitality, that's kind of sketchy. Just saying. Let me know what you guys think. I'm game to hear anything that can help people. We are making money in here. That's right, Brian P. I hear you. Post-retirement travel, a nice pullback in the market today. That's right. I backed up the truck. See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, and got me some goods. This is what I'm saying. I am getting on this train. Exactly, post-retirement travel. You can't lose, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain. This is a setup of epic proportions for what they are doing. The dollar has declined. What does this mean? Post retirement travel can tell you he just got back from outside the United States. What this means is bad for United States. Citizens that have money, they're still good. The top 10%, let's call it, they still travel. But for the ordinary citizen, it costs me more money when I actually leave in the United States to go outside because our dollar has declined. So the exchange rate is, if I have a dollar, it's costing me $120 more in the EU, for instance. So now 200 bucks is like 280. Are you getting the picture yet? So it works in reverse. If you sell something for 280 and you come now, you need more dollars to buy it. So this is why when the dollar goes down, stuff starts happening. Here's the other thing that starts happening. When American companies have to start selling outside of the United States, since our dollar value is down, that creates a problem because those people are going to be buying our products. So what is the company going to do? They're going to receive less money. So they have to raise their prices. It causes market fluctuations. That's not good for a business. Instability is not good for United States companies because we're a service industry here and we're not the manufacturing base of the world. That stuff stopped like 50, 60 years ago. So now, since we have to service and we buy outside, it's costing us more money. So tariffs be damned. Okay, so keep all this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Just like he's doing the salsa dance for the pullback, he's doing the salsa dance for the dividends. That's what we want for you. Big smiles on your face every Monday. Ting, ting, ting. At least one thing's coming in that you didn't have to work for. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. And look at this right here, EV Place. TSLY still under $8. That's why, oh my God, you know what? Let me get down to business about something else. Tesla's on a free fall right now. Can you believe what's happening out here? This is unbelievable because he did he started the Democratic Party, Republican Party. He's calling it the American Party. People have turned on the Mr. Apartheid. I've already turned on Mr. Apartheid, but I'm going to tell you what. I am not going to miss out on Mr. Apartheid making my ass some money by buying TSLY from Yield Max ETF because people are doing the eject button. I'm selling. I got to pay the premiums. I got to put my option money on the line. Let me get a premium fee here, a sell fee there. All that adds up. So what happened with Tesla? Well, Tesla, I'm trying to look it up to see how much it fell because I know it fell. And that's why TSLY is under $8. But we like the fall. We love the fall because, again, a lot of option money going into TSLY. Oh, it's under $300 now. It dropped $21 today. Oh, yes. I love it. TSLY, I love it. That means we're going to be on track for at least the normal type of dividends, I would suspect. And he's getting punished. His company's getting punished for acting like Mr. Apartheid, rightfully so. And so, therefore, the rest of the world is like, we're not protecting your corporation anymore. We're going to allow Chinese EV vehicles in the EU now, where 90% plus are being bought. And now Tesla's crumbling over there, crumbling over here. And heaven forbid if the master of negotiations really does cut off Teslas and SpaceX and their subsidies and government contracts. Oof, that would be crazy. But anyhow, declining dollar that I was talking about, worst first half return in 52 years. I told you about these tariffs. Regardless of what the idiot in office is saying, the American consumer and importers pay the bulk of it. $121 billion, depending on which side of the fence you're on. If you're on the pro-Trump side, you're going to say, oh, look what we made China pay. But if you're on not the pro-Trump side and you live in reality, then you would know 90% of the 121 billion was paid by American importers and USA citizens. Does that sound like winning to you? It sounds like American citizens are in trouble by paying a higher price, where 80% of United States citizens are already living paycheck to paycheck. That's why, speaking of Mr. Robert Speller, who's in the house, that's why you have to tighten your belts right now. You're going to have to maximize your profits, minimize your expenses, and that's what a good accountant can help with you doing in your business. Don't try to be a hero and save a little bit of money. An accountant and an attorney are the best two people you can have in your corner, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. All right. Now, let's get back to the Tesla at hand. TSLY at $8. I think my dollar cost average is a little over $8. So if it's under $8, I got to go buy some. And good thing it's open 24-hour markets now. Not every brokerage lets you trade 24 hours, but man, I got to give a big shout out to TSLY going down because it did drop. So I expect tomorrow either it's going to stay the same or go down a little bit more. So thank you, EV Place. And oh, by the way, I got to show some love, EV Place, early on in the live stream. Speaking of those people who like their speaker systems in their cars, you need to get in touch with EV Place. If anybody knows anything about speaker systems in cars, power is one thing, but then you need to have power that goes with the clarity. How do you get clarity? Well, power is helpful, but power isn't the number one thing. Everything in your system has to be the best of the best because we don't want to hear distortion, right? I don't want to hear distortion. So that means I got to have the best of the best connectors. I got to have the best of the best gauge for my system. EV Place sells power systems that recharge in your car, and go over to eBay and check them out. 700 watts of power, ladies and gentlemen. That's hot. Just reinvest my dividend. Exactly. That's what I'm doing, EV Place. You can't help yourself getting free shares of stock. So then the next payout, you generally may get a higher, even if it's only a few dollars. Sometimes it's $50 more, $25 more. Depends on how many shares you got. Next thing you know, it keeps moving. So what are we talking about? Post-retirement travel from EV Place says travel, no pullback on NVDA, just 1% or something. Here's the speaker system. Hit them up. Send seller questions if you don't understand. But there's a lot of people that are into their classic cars, a lot of people that are into new school cars. Either way, sometimes the power system, just because it says, I'll say Alpine, JVC, anybody else's name on there, come on now. That does not matter. That doesn't mean they put the best wires in there, the least resistance, where you can add a little bit of power and get clarity. Trust me, it's a science and it's art. Get those two together. See this man right here. There's the eBay. Go check him out if you're into car stereo systems. All right. Got to show some love for our own, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I do it. I want everybody to win. That's why we have to talk about it. All right. Thanks for the great info. Thanks, Spell. I appreciate it, man. Okay, this is looking good, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to see we have some people here tonight from all over the internet. Make sure no matter where you're watching, hit the heart button, the check box. What other type of buttons do they have? Arrow buttons. No matter where you're watching, show some love. So the YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, podcast, iHeart, all you guys. I appreciate your love. Show some love here. Okay, I will go there right now. Thanks, Spell. Um, Appreciate it, man. Post-retirement travel. Eric, have you noticed a steady increase on your rental bookings? No, not me. I'm not in Orlando. I don't own Margaritaville, where the top 10% would hang out generally. No, I'm not. You are. Pleasant surprise upon our return to USA. I ain't mad. Yeah, I'm not in your same boat. Remember, I don't own in Margaritaville. I own the places like Westgate Town Center, Westgate Lakes, Holiday Inn, all that. People are saying, well, if it's going to cost me like $4.99, $3.99, I might as well stay at Margaritaville. Just saying. No, I'm not having an uptick. I was just talking about that earlier today. No, I'm having like a die off. That's what I'm having. EV Place just got free $200 for setting cashback card with TD Bank. You need to spend 1,003 months to get it. Wait a minute. What do you mean TD Bank? Oh, I keep thinking about TD Ameritrade. I was getting ready to say, yeah, TD Bank, exactly. Okay, yeah, they're still banks. I was thinking of the brokerage account. I was like, wait, is this a brokerage account deal? No, you're talking about a bank account. I love it. I love it. Hey, thanks for that information, everybody. $200 for setting cashback card with TD Bank. You need to spend 1,003 months to come on now. You guys, come on. You can spend $1,000 easily. Just pay your electric bill, your phone bills, your gas bills, I mean, come on. You can do all kind of easy to pay $1,000 in 3 months. Come on now. Way to go. Free money in my book. $200 is 10 times MST. There you go. $20 a share. Exactly. And they paid out, I think, you know what? I'll just look. What did they pay out? No, they didn't pay it. That wasn't payout today. Or was it? Hold on a second. I didn't even look to see what payouts were. I just got notifications. Oh, yeah, we got to do this. And Brian P., before you say it, no, I didn't open email. I don't have email open. I'll check it in a second. Looks like overnight we started skyrocketing once again. Gotta love it. BTC dropped to 107, but we still have red all over the damn place. MSTY. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. $1.24 per share, ladies and gentlemen. So you see, $20 a share. If you had 50 shares, which is $1,000 approximately right now, if you had 50 shares, you would have 75-ish dollars, I think, $1.24. Is that about right? Somewhere like that. Yeah, 175. And that would buy you 8 shares. Maybe, yeah, almost 9. But 8 free shares. And if they stay around 100 and some dollars, then that means your next month is going to be almost 190. Not bad. Or 185 to 190. 185, closer to 185. But that's what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. You can build it up, or you could take out the money if you don't want to reinvest. But why are you going to reinvest when it creates a lot more shares? And then when you reach a point that you want to take out, maybe you'll take out a part of it. Maybe you'll say, I'll take out 20% and then let the other 80% reinvest. Or vice versa. Depends on how you want to do your own business. That's a business. You're the CEO of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about it. That's what you do. Say that again, Trucker Trey. I missed what I was talking about. But once again, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And you're going to have to repeat it for me. Okay, I'm gonna have to get Streambo out for a second off of, oh, I see where it is. It's not where I want it to be, but it's all good. EV Place. US 10-year rise up. You knew it was $4.39. Unexpected is coming. It's already happened. When the dollar keeps declining, the rest of the world, okay. The rest of the world gets to buy more dollars for their currency for less, right? So therefore, that's why they're doing it. Because they have to raise. Nobody's going to buy it when the dollar's going down. Remember, we were talking about 4.25 on Thursday or Wednesday. Sorry, Friday, because I was on Friday. We are talking about it Friday, 4.25. Remember, we were talking about it then. I was shocked that it was that low, but now it's back up to 4.3, almost 4.4, because tariffs, framework of a tariff, concept of a tariff with Vietnam and somebody else, it's not even in effect. So now people are shaky again, don't want to invest. Dollar value's losing. Tariffs are coming. They're sending out letters to 100 countries. I'm like, what is this? This is like little kitty thing. SOS, SOS. I mean, what are we doing here? Since when do you send letters to another country and talk about tariffs? You're supposed to have your group, the United States delegation, the qualified individuals to come sit down and talk, and you're supposed to have the stenographer, so to speak, sitting there writing down what you guys are talking about and what the agreements are, and you're supposed to make agreements in person. That's how governments used to operate. What is this sending letters stuff? Like, think about this. Think about this. I'm going to make a deal with you and buy your business. So what do? We send over a contract. But if it's going to be something serious, you are going to go see the person and the business in person, right? You're not just going to buy stuff unseen. You're going to go see the people's face that we're talking about. Hey, we're going to give you a 50% tariff increase. And then they're going to send back going, well, we'll give you a 50% tariff increase. What is the letter going to do? That's not an agreement, not in government circles. This is not buying a house. This is crazy right now. I saw the Treasury Secretary on TV saying we're sending out 100 letters. And I love the response by the anchor. And they said, you mean threat letters? Because that's what I'm thinking. Threat letter. Let somebody write up something, sending me something going, hey, man, I'm going to charge you more money and send it in a letter form. I'm going to be like, is this a joke right now? You're going to charge me more money? Is this okay? You guys know how I feel about charging me more money when I'm a customer already. That means we don't do business. you don't even, you get cut off. Like I said, StreamYard, when they all of a sudden charge my card double what my monthly payment was. And I was like, what's going on? They said, oh, we raised our prices. I said, oh, no, you didn't. They said, yeah. I said, well, I'm looking through my emails. There's nothing. You didn't call me. They're like, oh, no, we just did it. I said, I'm on auto pay. What do you mean you just did it? I said, cancel me now. I don't do business with people that do me this kind of way. What is this? No courtesy, no nothing. Sending me a threat letter. Now, threat letters have come to me before, and the same rules apply. You don't get to strong arm me. I'm the customer. Same rules apply when the other country's also our customer and we're their customer. How are you going to strong arm somebody and go, hey, man, we're going to do a 50% tariff if you don't show up to negotiations? I'm like, I'll just call my government officials and say, just put a 50% tariff on the USA right now. I'm like, what are we doing out here? All right, never mind. Good thing I don't work in government. EV Place. Eric, for all your marketing recommendations, how about I will send you my speaker clarity system for test? Oh, I like it. Sounds good to me. Sounds excellent. I love it. Joe Nay, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Another investor in real estate, another investor in the stock market, another investor, I'm sure, in several locations. And he's here live from parts unknown on an island in the Caribbean. Good evening is his tagline that starts. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm here. I'm getting dividends. You're getting the notifications. I know what you're doing. And I know you got that big smile on your face. Joe Nay says, I just smashed that like button. It's free, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you do it. If you want to improve your credit, I highly recommend doing smartcredit.com. It's the best credit monitoring system. And use the promo link Stop Struggling below in the chat box on YouTube or wherever you're watching from, if it allows you to see it, because they have special deals every month, especially for SSN Nation members. Might only cost you a couple dollars a month for 5 or 6 months to enjoy improving your credit, seeing all 3 credit scores, seeing your FICA 8 score in case you want to buy a liability, which I highly do not suggest, a vehicle. This is not the time. That money you're paying for a vehicle could be going into the stock market, earning you money. That's a liability. So keep rolling with whatever you got for as long as you can until the wheels fall off, because that money that you are throwing at these $500, $800, $1,000, $1,500 a month liability payments, imagine how much you're giving them a year. That money could be at least another 20% more. And you didn't have to work for it. And some would say, and that would be me, that if you had enough money invested in the stock market and you were getting nice returns that are out available right now and for the next 1 year and 5 months, you could actually pay for another car using other people's money via dividends. Or you went to Biz Buy Sell and you found an owner that's getting a little old. He says, I'm a little tired. Just take over payments on this and give me a monthly pay allowance, and I'll come in and help you a little bit and to school you a little bit. And you can pay over time. I'm just saying it's there. You don't need a lot of money in a lot of cases, because let's face facts, the U.S. economy is declining. Buyers, United States citizens, have less money in their pockets. Disposable income, I'll use that term. So less disposable income means less buying power. So therefore, they're not making as much revenues as they used to. And I'm referring to mom and pop businesses, and sooner or later, it's going to hit the big boys. The Amazons, the Microsofts, it doesn't matter, the Apples, all of them, because people aren't going to be able to buy their products in a mass quantity like most people used to do. So again, this denial about 80% of the population is not living paycheck to paycheck, and people saying, well, see, this and that and the other. But the reality is that is what's happening. Plus, with tariffs, you're putting in a contraction because our businesses cannot sell outside of the United States. And now they can't even sell to their own customers here because we don't have the money. So you have a contraction from both ends. And that means more jobs, more are going to have layoffs. So you're actually putting in the implosion. And so that's why you only have 1 year, 5 months to get your act together under the SSN Nation rules. You're going to have a little longer than that. But like I said, I would not bet against 1 year, 5 months is what I'm telling you. Get everything in order. Joe Nay, I can hardly write in the chat. My phone keeps vibrating. Exactly, Joe Nay. Very, very happy to hear it. It must be nice to be sitting around chilling. Misty, MSTY123. Exactly, Trucker Trey. Misty is $1.23. Yes, mine said 124, but whatever it is, Mine said 124. Yours says 123. I love it. Either way, let me give people some ideas on why we get excited. Trucker Trey knows why. Because if the stock is around $20, so everybody, when you're making investments, do you understand the calculation? So if I'm going to invest in something and my return is $1.24, that's my return. So you put in your calculator $1.24. And then let's just say the stock is $20. It might be right now. But you divide by your purchase price, $20. And that's how you get your rate of return, which is, oh my, 6.2% this month. Oh, sorry, it's not $1.24. That's the accumulate. Oh no, it is $1.24. That's right. It is $1.24 per share. So it's 6%. You do see 6%, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand 6%? Some people are happy right now. There's people working at a job and they have their 401k, and at the end of the year, they're going to get a statement next year in January or February, January. They're going to get a statement and it's going to say, congratulations, you got 6.2% for the year on your money. But see, here in the SSN Nation, you would have been like, hold on. You would have been the coworker that said, hold on, you guys, I get 6.2% every month. And they're going to look at you like, that's impossible. Okay, all right. Some of you you're gonna sit there and go, hey, I got like a return of 60% distribution back from this MSTY. And they're gonna go, that's not possible. Stop lying. No. And then you just say, okay, here's the information. See you later. But this is what we're talking about right now. 6.2% in a month. Next month could be 12% if they give the same return. It fluctuates because it's based on option income trading. You have to understand that. Go to your Max ETF and go study, ladies and gentlemen. So this is why it's exciting right now, because we have this administration that's doing all kinds of stuff with our economy. Our laborers are getting kidnapped right now. U.S. citizens are getting kidnapped. They're losing their jobs. They're losing their cars, their homes, because they're in detention for 2 months. And somebody's coming to either steal their stuff or repossess their stuff. So either way, and they lost their job. Another customer gone to pay taxes, buy goods and services. But keep doing it a million times. Another million. You know what? That starts adding up. When you take out a million or two out of the buying of United States companies, products, and services. Just saying. All right, Brian P says he sees 124, but either way, we in the ballpark. Does not matter. Trucker Trey says I got 355 from MSTY. See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. If he does, look, this is what we're talking about. This could be car note payments. Some people do still have low payments because they're not stupid enough to buy $80,000, $100,000 cars. Come on now. But great for you, Trucker Trey. So, in other words, look at it another way, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say it's 355. What is that divided by 20? Is that 15 shares? Yeah. It's around 17 shares, right? Something like that. If he reinvests, he gets 17 more shares. So now if we go by the $1.25, next month he's going to be around 375. You see how this works? And then eventually you might say, okay, let me eject this. Let me collect 300 every month out of it. And then just let 50 of it reinvest because I like 300 a month out of it. This gives you options. You want to hear some other options? Let's just say you're like Mr. Dividend and post-retirement travel and EV Place, right? I'm just giving a few names out there. Let's just say you're like them and you have a nice portfolio in place. Now, if you want to get creative and do high risk, high rewards, okay, you can try to act like big boys, but I wouldn't advise it right now. You need to stay stable, but you could always borrow against assets. Just saying. But if you do borrow against assets, then you should be buying into something that also gives a return, not a hope, not a prayer. It already is giving returns. This is the rule for 1.5. You are not going out here taking money out of your system that creates more money and go buy liabilities. That is against the rules for another 1 year, 5 months. You're only going to take money out of assets to buy more assets. That's it. Just so you know. Because I don't want you guys out here doing this running for your lives because you got the mob after you. Assets that pay you is needed ASAP. All right. Very nice, Trucker Trey. Congratulations once again to you as well. MSTR meet all conditions to get in the S&P 500. We know what's happening next. MSTR is MicroStrategy, which now starting to call itself strategy. But anyway, they buy Bitcoin. That's their thing. We all know Bitcoin goes up about 25% per year on average. So is that a good investment? MSTR? Well, yeah, if you like $400, I think, fine. It's not a bad stock to own. They do not give out dividends. That's what MSTY, EOMax ETF, that's how they're monetizing it because they're getting money from you. They've been buying MSTR puts, calls, and getting premium monies on the option market, fees and premiums. So therefore, they're giving us the distribution from those shares each month. It changes. That's why it may not be $1.24 next month. It could be 75 cents. But let's just get real. If I got 6% this month and it was 75 cents next month, let me give you guys some things. Remember, we're at 6.2%. So if I did 0.75 and divided that, if it's still $20, we'll say, that's 3.7%, 75%, 6.2, 3.75. We're almost at 10% in 2 months if it goes down to 75 cents. Now, if it goes up to $1, wow, then we're over 10% in 2 months. Most people will take that for annual returns. So keep these type of things in mind. This is once in a lifetime opportunity. You're not going to be able to do this all the time. It's only because you have these fluctuations, and they're going to continue apparently because we have tariffs on pause until August 1st now. We have letters supposedly going out giving people ultimatums, come to the table and deal with us or else. I don't know what this or else is, but that's what we're out here doing. Joe Nay, prayers for over 100 people that lost their lives in Texas floods and counting. You got that right. Pray for humanity and for the people because humanity says we have to do something about it. For future reference, humanity also says you cannot ignore what scientists have been saying for 50, 60 years. Sooner or later, either you're going to pay the price one way or another with lives, or you're going to pay the price by physical dollars. Me personally, let's go with the physical dollars instead of making people pay with their lives. All right. Whoa. Trucker Trey. I pick up truck is never a liability. Trucker Trey. You know what? Trucker Trey. There's two sides to every coin. Now, I know your Trucker Trey. The first part of the equation. Buying a truck and not turning it into an asset is what I'm referring to as a liability. Buying a truck and then turning it into the asset, oh, now it's heaven on earth because now you then changed it into an asset. It's not a liability sitting in the driveway, not making you no money. A truck making you money is an asset. It's a business, or it could be a hobby. But either way, if you turn it into making money, I'm all with you. And that's you, Trucker Trey. So thank you for clarifying. I understand your whoa, whoa. I hear you now. Okay. EV place. It's even better, Eric. My last month on Yield Max Wallet plus 7.5 and 27.5% in 3 months. I know, man. I don't like giving people these numbers because it's scary. You tell somebody, hey man, I'm making 27.5% return on my money, and it's only like half the year. That trust me. Again, most people aren't into CEO of their life, but a lucky few of you are, and you can share this information with people. They don't have to settle for 8%, 6%, or even, heaven forbid, 3.5% interest at your bank. Are we serious right now? This is why I keep talking about assets that you buy. And when you want to do things like when we're talking about, for instance, buying real estate and turning it into a business, Airbnb-ing it or long-term rentals, I go, this is why it's my pet peeve when somebody goes, I'll use terms that Mr. Speller will know. The cap rate is 5%, which is a lot in Cali. And I'm sitting there like, why am I going to even waste time with this? Why would I even? So you want me to invest money into something and then worry every month and deal with all this other stuff to worry about 5% at the end of the year? When I can just put the same money into the stock market and get a dividend more than 5%. In fact, I got options to make 5% in 1 month. So why am I even going to take the risk? But a lot of people still will take that risk because they get their money from somewhere else as well. You just don't know. Maybe they have assets that they make a lot of money. Then they got a loan from the bank at interest only. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, when you're doing business and you in return realize that you can't make more than 10%, then if you care about making less than 10%, then you might as well just put your money in the stock market. Hell, a bond is 4.3% right now for 10 years, 4.3% every year. So why am I going to do a cap rate of 4 or 5 or 6 and take a risk? I mean, it'd have to be one sweetheart of a deal, but that's the whole point, ladies and gentlemen. So when we're talking about these type of numbers, which everybody can do if you were involved. Oh, Robinhood. God dog it. I got to get me some HOOY, by the way. Robinhood has an option that you can use your stocks and ETFs to buy more stocks and ETS. I don't know what S's are. Very risky, but if they cut rates, I might go all in. Hey man, if they cut rates, don't do nothing. Sit for a second. The cutting of the Federal Reserve rate, I don't think it's going to have much of an impact. They're going to do a 0.25, I would think, right? I'll use terms that Mr. Speller likes since he's here. I'll give him the props. 25 basis points. That's 0.25 for everybody that's regular. All right. Yes, sir. Exactly. Trucker Trey, he knows what we know. If you're going to turn your vehicle into an asset, then we do the salsa dance. It's all good. We can take that liability challenge. We can say, okay, I'm going to buy this truck for X because I'm going to make X. That's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the CEO of your life, like Trucker Trey. That's what you have to look at for 1 year, 5 months. No longer can you play Mr. Nice Guy. No longer can you listen to your accountant say, hey, man, just deal with 5% return as inflation is over 5%. I know. Let me explain something to you guys. Run for your lives. Okay, first of all, I'm going to do this. Write it down. Shadowstats.com. That's where you're going to find the real numbers because it's calculated on pre-1980 numbers, the real one. And after 1980, under Ronald Reagan, another tax guy, tax rate, tax breaks guy, who started off this mayhem over the last 50 years, along with the other guy that took us off of the gold standard. Jesus, Americans, what's wrong? You guys, stop. These guys are doing bad things to you. I lost my train of thought because I get so pissed off. But nonetheless, I'm going to come back to it. It'll come back to me because I was talking about trucker trade, doing all this stuff. But anyhow, somebody comes to you and starts talking about these little menial numbers when you can sit up here and easily see you can get 5, 6, 7% without even risking your money and still be liquid, is the point. All right. Please check your emails, Eric. EV Place. I've sent you some fresh, juicy numbers from DR Real Estate Market from 4th of July. Okay. I'm going to have to check it out. All right. Or if you lose a job, it's a backup, especially a pickup truck. Yeah, exactly. I understand. If you have if you have pickup trucks, if you have almost any type of truck, you can actually always make money if you're willing to either have the crew or you yourself are doing something, because there's always somebody that needs something picked up. There's always something that has to involve a truck. So I agree with you 100%. That puts you in business. It makes sense. Like, we have trucks, right? Several uses of trucks. I'll put it that way. Just pickup trucks. And of course, if we wanted to be in that business, that's why I was thinking about partially being in that tree business. But again, that involves a bunch of things I can't do. So out with the old, in with something else new. Get in the game and get assets. Exactly, Brian P. Buy, 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 buy. I agree. Okay, some juicy numbers from 4th. Hey, you know what? I don't want to hear EV Place. Don't be doing that glazing stuff, man. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, man. Here's the thing. When somebody says, you know what? I'm going to use a perfect example. Somebody says to me, "Hey, Eric, you know the DR numbers." I hope you're talking about real estate. The DR numbers during Easter. I'm like, I know hotels are like 90 this year, though it was only like 93, I think 93%. The year before, it was like 99% hotel occupancy during Easter week. This year, I think it was 93, somewhere 93, 92, whatever. But don't tell me about a certain time, July 4th weekend. It's 3 days. Yeah, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, perfect. And hotels got 90 some percent. I don't really care about hotels. I don't own a hotel. The only thing I would own is an Airbnb. So unless Airbnbs are getting 90 some percent, that's about the only way I'm gonna be happy. And that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Just saying. American citizens are broke. By the way, Canadian citizens are broke too. 85% of Canadian citizens are living paycheck to paycheck now. The consumer nations are all broke because they're I'm talking about the EU, Canada, United States, these type of countries, is because they are devaluing their currency. So they're all broke. And so devaluing currency means your citizens have to pay more money for the same goods and services. So that's not a good proposition. Run for your lives, ladies and gentlemen, into assets that pay you. And by the way, I started off on when you go to another country, get a bank account. Number two, go to another country after the bank account and you love that area and might go visit there, then figure out how to start a business or get an LLC or something so you have a presence in the country. All right, those are the two things right there. There's a number three. We'll get to that in a second. All right. Now, I got to do something all the time while I'm on here. Check it first. Okay. You know how this works. Brian P is usually the one that says, check my emails. And you know I always have to do now this secret stuff, fingerprints, all this crazy stuff, unreal. In order to get in my emails, I got to put in numbers, and it's just silly. Not really silly. It's safety. I understand. So I bitch about it, but the reality is I can't be too mad. I can't be too mad. Come on now. Um, yeah. So yeah, we got to do some fingerprints. Let's go. Let's see if it's gonna work. Nope. Looks like we're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing like a salsa dance. Don't forget, SMCY is the other payout today. That's another one. Again, we were looking at SMCY at $17 a share a few months ago when they had a meltdown. Not a few, about half of 6, 7 months ago when they had that meltdown. Everybody had their shot, had a chance. It then doubled, tripled, and you could have still had SMCY getting some of these nice dividend money with that as well. So, as long as they stay within a range, you're good. That's what you want. You want a range with the Max ETF. Also, Defiance Group also has option income trading. And now that Max ETFs have been pretty popular with this option income strategy, all kind of companies have option income strategy trading ETFs now. So just be very, very careful. By the way, Pelletier. No. Strategy. We were talking about strategy. They're going to be on the S&P 500. They let's face it, they improve 25% every year, pretty much. So therefore, that's why it. So people say how the S&P 500 or the index funds keep moving at a 9, 8, 9, 10% increase every year. It's because they keep bringing in winning companies. Then they remove the ones that are not performing well. That's why a lot of people say, well, why don't you just buy an index fund such as I like the Vanguard group. So VOO, VOOG, VGT, VGT. That's like technology, just so you guys know. VTI, those are the ones we were talking about for the last few years. And yes, they've been doing very, very well as expected. And I expect them to do very, very well after they start buying back they buying shares too via Vanguard, BlackRock, and all these guys that are getting subsidies and free money, tax breaks. They join the party. That's why it keeps going. Think about this. A lot of people don't think about some things. If you're in a fund that has all of the Magnificent Seven, the Apple, the Amazons, right? Even Teslas, even if you have Google, right? You have all the Magnificent Seven. And so they are going to buy back NVIDIA. They're going to buy back billions of dollars worth of their shares in the next like 2 years. What could possibly happen? And then not only are they buying, now you have BlackRock, Vanguard, other big capital management companies. They're buying millions of shares because they're getting investors to invest in their ETFs. So that's why you have this increase, and I expect 2 years of increase. It's going to happen. They've already going to allocate the money. Now they got free taxpayer money to throw in the mix. What do you think's going to happen? Come on now, this isn't rocket science. This is what happens all the time. And then on the other side of it, there'll be a crash. You know that. Come on now. There'll be a crash. And then what do? That's why you need the assets, because you're going to be picking up the pieces just like the top 10% is going to be picking up pieces, taking advantage, which is no advantage. It's just that that's the way of how it works. You can't sit on the sidelines because you might be out of a job. Okay. I'm hoping that this comes up and then we can talk about, okay, let's see. DR, fresh data. Oh, we got something here. Wait a minute. What's he sending me? Is this public info or just some back? I see. Is that a direct drive? It is. You sent me something about property. Okay. Property analysis? Okay, EV Place. EV Place wants to play around with me tonight about property management or whatever this is. I don't even know what this is. We're about to find out. It's a global property guide. And here it is. I'm not even going to, you know what? I'm going to put it on screen. Although when I put things on screen, it kind of messes things up. But I'll try it. Let's see what happens once I share. Kind of drags. Let me see if I can turn some things off. Yeah, take that down. Oh, I messed up. You know what? Hold on a second. I got to do something. I didn't put the SSN Nation on different playlist tonight. I messed up. So hold on a second. We're talking stocks. We're talking a little crypto. MSTR is a stock that buys Bitcoin. So that's why their stock price goes up. As long as everybody understands what we're dealing with that. Then, let me see. I guess you guys can't see that yet. Where's this at? Here we go. All right. Let me add it to the screen so you guys will get a taste of what EV Play sent me. This is it. You guys can start reading some of this. This is real estate investing. Is some of us, a lot of us have real estate invested in the Dominican Republic. So this is of interest. So this is from July 4th, Dominican Republic's residential property market analysis. Who did this analysis? Let's go find out. Who's doing this? We don't have no names. Who's doing this? Hold on. I'm going to do this. Is anybody signing this? Where are we getting it? Oh, they're using sources. Proper Star. Okay, I like that. The National Statistics Office. One. Okay, I like that. New York Times. Eh. Okay. 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 They got some sources that might be legitimate. That's all we care about. Housing market snapshot. Okay. We already know they currently have 125,000 Airbnbs in the Dominican Republic. And that was 2 months ago. We know there's going to be thousands more units on the market. Dominican Republic's house price annual change. Of course, it has to rise. It goes, okay. Blue is house price change nominally, okay, and real percent change in 1 year. Is that down or up? Okay, hold on. I guess I'm going to have to. Average price of apartments increased by 10%. That is correct. 130 DOP. Yeah, it is. It is correct. It is over 2,200 per square meter. Yeah, they're running at 2,000 to 2,500. Can you believe 5 years ago, 2,000 to 2,500 was for premium Capcana type prices? Now Capcana is over 4,000 per square meters, which is crazy. Yes, and the reason it's going to increase is because inflation. Inflation on the island uh, uh, in 2023, I believe it was 40% housing construction cost increase. All right. So obviously the price has to come up. That's around when it was $800, $900 per square meter. So 2023, it went up to 1,200, 13, 14. Over the last 2 years, it's probably risen. I don't know the actual number, so maybe we'll find out. But anyhow, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's one thing that we're going to check off the box. So yes, it's going to go up because the cost of construction rises due to inflation, and because they're on the United States program of borrowing, because they don't have the money, they're banking a lot of their activity on business that has nothing to do with their citizens making more money. They're basing it on tourism. Tourism is based on people visiting the island that has money. Then they're going, well, that in turn gives us jobs. Well, unfortunately, you all know, if you're in the hospitality business, there's only the head of the snakes up top are the ones that make the most money. Everybody else that works at a resort does not make $90,000, $100,000 a year. Come on now, or more. They're generally saying, well, you have this salary. And a DR, all inclusive, I'm going to tell you guys a story. I was at the Hard Rock, not recently, but in the 2015 or whatever, 2016, 2013s and all that. So when I'm at the Hard Rock, the first time I went to the Hard Rock, I go to Benihana's. And you guys know what Benihana's is. That's when the chef puts on a display and then they throw food into your plate and do stuff in the hat and all kind of crazy, right? So I'm thinking this is awesome. The dude is like awesome. So I leave the guy like a tip, and it was like $20, right? Nothing that crazy. I just left them $20. So now, if you've been to the Hard Rock, they have corridors where they have the shops, and then down at the end they have like this bar that has music and a bar and things like that. But it's probably, I'd say, like 200 feet down, probably. So I leave, and we get to this other bar, and that has music in it. And the next thing I know, the waiter or waitress, I can't remember, but they're running. And they said, oh, Mr. Bird, Mr. Bird. And he's holding a $20 bill. Mr. Bird, you left this. You left this. I'm like, I didn't leave it. What are you talking about right now? No, I left it as a tip. It is like, no, we can't take tip. I was like, what are you talking about? No money. No, they couldn't take money at the time. I don't know if they've changed it, but they couldn't take money. I was like, is this a joke, right? Okay, somebody's pranking me or something. No, they were serious. I said, no, just keep it. He's like, oh no, here. And he dropped it on the counter. And I was like, damn, it's like that? So I didn't believe that this was a thing. It was a thing at the time. They weren't going to take the tip money. I'm like, how much are these dudes getting paid? I'm thinking, oh, they must be getting paid very, very well. And then I find out where some of these workers actually live. And I'm like, hold up a second. And then I found out how they distribute tip money if they were going to get the tips. The bosses get most of the money. The actual people don't get it. They're like, oh, yeah, here's 10%. They got to share with people that the people that's cooking the food, the boss that's standing there at the front saying, come on in. I'm like, this is crazy. So anyhow, they didn't accept tips at the time, and I thought that was wild. I've never had that happen anywhere. All right, let's keep going. Shall we? We're in the Dominican Republic right now where you can no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry, pre-construction properties, just like you can buy pre-construction all over the world. You can buy it in Greece. You can buy it in Italy. You can buy it in Thailand. You can buy some in Vietnam. You can buy pre-construction in Bali. You can go to Dubai. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry, but you do need down payments, generally about 10% to 20% down. Then you make monthly payments. Why do they do that? Is because the building's not built yet. It's pre-construction. It's allegedly going to be built in 2.5, 3 years. And so you're going to pay monthly payments for 3.5, 2 years for either 30, 40, or 50% down. And then once it's built, then you owe the remaining amount, whether it's 30% or 40% or 20%. All right. It's that simple. All right. So here we go. Residential property prices. Here we go. In Dominican Republic are projected to increase further between 7% and 12% by the end of 2025. This projection stuff, I'm not with them. I'm not with them. The only way you can have a price increase for residential property prices, oh, never mind. It's residential property prices. They're not talking about Airbnb. Okay, I will agree with this, yes, because the cost of construction costs more. So, yes, it's going to be more. I don't know what it'll be. It could be 15% more. It all depends on how much the construction materials went up. All right. Foreign property investment also encouraged with incentives, which, okay, I don't want to get into this. Tax-free receipt of pension income from foreign sources. Yes, including movie belongings to the country is guaranteed law special incentive. Pensioners and persons of independent means. How do you get residency? This is one way. If you have $1,500 or more coming in from a pension, Social Security, things of this nature, you can get, well, first visa, and then a few years, then you can get your residency. All right, just letting you guys know. That's how it works. Foreign buyers receive 50% exemption from property tax. It's more than that. If you buy for like $170,000 or less, You're not going to pay taxes on your real estate. Every year, the real estate goes up in DR. This exemption. When you're buying, if you're under comforture, that's a comforture law. You have 15 years of no tax, regardless of the purchase price. That's a change they've done over the years. And you do not have to pay the 3% purchase price either. That's waived, which is cool. Exemption from taxes on dividends and interest income generated within the country or overseas. Oh, I love this place. But anyhow, that's the incentives. By the way, everybody, I'm going to put this link in the chat room in case people are interested. We're going to have to go look at something. When was this made? We got to pay attention here on a few fronts. But I'm going to put this in the chat room so everybody can go check it out themselves. And then I'm going to skip. I'll come back to it in a second. Because EV Place is telling me something here. Okay, hold on. Check it first. Post-retirement travel, EV Place with Robinhood. What features is that? Are you talking about using margin? I don't think he was. More info there. Unemployment, earnings, etc. Yeah, I'm getting to that. Because if there's earnings on here, at least I can finally figure out how much it is. Post-retirement travel, because we don't know what the average wages or earnings are for you, for Dominican citizens. It looks like it might be in here. Palantir is another must-have in your portfolio. Exactly. Over 80% in 6 months and year-to-date return. The stock is on fire. You're right. That is PLTR, ladies and gentlemen. That's Palantir. Deep involved with the Department of Defense. That's right. Plus, it's cheap. That's right. They basically did something I disapprove of. The administration put in Peter Thiel, who runs Palantir, honorary lieutenant colonel in the Army, so they can be in the Army with their technology. And because it's defense, the American people have no idea what these guys are cooking up. Crazy. Unless you have the clearance. Just saying. All right. Plus, it's cheap. Yeah, it is. It's 60. Well, it was around 60. I'm pretty sure it's, in fact, let me just go look. It's probably 66, 67 at least, right? Let's go look. PLTR stock. Uh-oh. What's happening? Didn't pop up that fast. This is what happens. All right. So once is it 66? What is it? We'll get in a second. All right. EV Place, exactly, man. It's probably around 66, I would guess. Yes, using margin option. So he's using margin. Hold on, I got to go back then. I misunderstood what you were doing. Let's see. Has an option you can use your stocks and EV. Yeah, I don't know what the ETS is, but very risky. But if they cut rates, I might go. Don't go all in. Do not go all in. Do not even go. Listen. Do not even do 10%, but 10%, man. It's too volatile because you can see what happens. All it takes is Trump to say, we're going to bomb Iran, or I'm going to pause tariffs, or I'm going to add 100% tariffs on somebody. I mean, it's too volatile. Movement is too volatile. You can't go all in, that's for sure. Don't do it. The Federal Reserve rate, I don't know how much it would help. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend no more than 10% max at this point, because it things have happened. I mean, things could drop 30%. Remember, the dollar is declining. That means, okay, there's several things. They're talking about cutting oil production. Oil production cuts is a bad thing. That means gas prices could rise. That's bad. That's not good. I mean, well, it's a double-edged sword. oil prices being a certain level helps the US dollar, and it helps the stock market as well. So there's a correlation, but it's a dangerous correlation if you're going to start messing around. So be very careful with margin play. Do not even, in fact, don't even mess with it because you don't know what's going to happen. All right, let's go. I want to go to something else. Let's go. I see something here. What is this? GDP. Oh, okay. 2025 F. I don't know if that means February. Amazing increase. There has been an amazing increase in wealth. The country's average per capita GDP increasing by 4.7 times from just 2,460 in 2003 to 11,542 in 2024. So here it is. They're saying it. The average annual wage is 11,542. So it's not 24,000. It was all along close to that $9, $10, $11,000 range annually. That is not a lot. That's less than $1,000 per month, ladies and gentlemen. And that doesn't include their crazy taxes, I'm sure. All right. Moreover, the national poverty rate dropped sharply to 21,000 in 2019. Who cares? From more than 40% a decade ago, after increasing to 23.9 in 2021 due to the adverse impact of COVID. So the poverty rate is almost like America, 20 some percent. The upper middle income poverty rate, US $6.85 per PPP per day in 2017. Okay. Why are they talking about 7, 8 year old stuff? Fell again to about 19% recently based on figures from the World Bank. All right, I don't really care about that. 11,000 is what the Dominicans on average make. That's not a lot. That doesn't mean they can stay in your Airbnbs or, stay in your, pay you monthly $1,000 to stay in your unit. They can, by rights, it should be $300 or $400, right? I mean, if that's their average salary, that's crazy. Now we know 11,542. I can put that in my calculations. That's not a lot. Demand, foreign investors pushing property prices up. Yes, this is true. Current prices for residential properties with an ocean view typically start at 150,000, while beachfront properties start for as low as 170. Okay. You know what? This is not Punta Cana area. That's for sure. This has to be some of those outliers like Las Terranas or up in Sosua, Cabarete, something of this nature, because that is not the thing. Recently, Dominican Republic moved beyond retiree market is becoming a more desirable destination for families. They're not here for starter internet investment. Instead, they're paying $350,000 to $600,000 for a big house with a nice yard, said Cheryl Henderson of Keller Williams, Dominican Republic, who owns Boardwalk Resorts, or no, not resorts, Boardwalk SRL, I guess. They're building the Aqua buildings on the corner in Los Corrales. El Cordocito, Maple Beach. She's building Maple Beach, and she's also building on El Cordocito side a beach club, which, from what I understand, you're going to have to pay. From what I understand, at the high end market, okay, so it's getting to be like a normal place where people want to spend. But see, here's where I go. I start going, well, if you're going to spend 350,000 to 600,000 for a house that's going to be on the island, I'm like, you can buy a house anywhere in the world for 350 to 600K. That's going to be a nice house, even in America. So now it starts being, well, again, I need infrastructure. I don't know about you guys. I'm not bougie or anything. I just like to know, I don't have to worry about simple things like electricity being out sometime during the day. But more often than not, right? The weather's nice out. I know the electricity's working because in the DR, you can't afford to have your AC out. Not in May, June, July, August, or September. Goes out for 15 minutes. It's hot in these brick buildings. All right. Uh, let's see here. Top tourist draw. Let's see what they're saying. They're telling us about 2019. Hold on. Let me make sure you guys can see this. They're talking about 2019. That's crazy right now. Yes, using margin. EV place. I've never said those are great news, but it's good piece of data to check out. Oh, yeah, for the most part, I know a lot about this. I just like the latest. The tourism industry contributes about 15% of the country's GDP. It ranges 15 to 20%. It's down to, I think, 18% right now. It was up to 20%, and that's a good sign. I don't want it at 20%. That's not good. They need some GDP from actual nice paying jobs where they make $2,000 a month on average. GDP where it's not 11,000, it's 20,000. That's how you bring up your country. Now they can afford to buy everyday necessities. All right, but anyhow, I won't get into that. That's my little pet peeve with all developing nations. Um, the year, new records, air arrival. Okay, we already know about the 2024 arrivals, 8.5 million by air. We know that. The first 4 months, we know that. You guys know on my channel, every month when the numbers come out, I do a video. So we already know. You know what's very telling? I'll tell you what's telling. Let me get these guys. Here's what's telling. They haven't released the numbers for May or June yet. The tourism numbers for May, and it's July 7th. They haven't released them for May, and they haven't released them for June. That tells me they are not favorable numbers. And I have another thing to bitch about. Run for your lives, because if you're thinking about listening to this thing going, I'm going to buy something over there for 350,000 to 600,000, unless you're going to live there, I do not recommend doing that. If you're thinking I'm going to buy something in a nice place, luxury place, I'm going to rent it out and somehow get a return of my money, you can forget about it. You are not going to be charging people 0.1% on a $350,000 place and expect to get 350, even if you're in Cap Cana, because only in high season will you be able to get high season prices. After high season, now you have to be in with everybody else, fending for the limited amount of consumers and tourism visitors that are coming. So again, be very, very careful. I like that EV place, being a man of the stats. Punta Cana Airport, as I told you guys from the beginning, total air arrivals was 64%. Las Americas, which is Santo Domingo, 19%. That right there is 83% of all air travel is on the eastern coast. Santo Domingo, Punta Cana airports. If you're an investor, do you want to be here or do you want to be in another place that only gets 2% or 6%? We're not at peak numbers yet. 8.5 million by air is not enough. We need 13 or 14 million by air, so that way everything is covered for the hotels at being at 98%, and Airbnbs will now get the flow over, and now you start something crazy for your tourism businesses with regard to Airbnb. Yeah, this we already know. It's 4.3 for the first 4 months, 4.3 tourists uh, total. That includes cruise and air. 3.2 for the 4 months by air. 4 months of prime time, and just so you know, they were $30,000, 30,000 people less than 2024 in the first 4 months. They're negative 0.1 or something like that. So that wasn't a good sign. And that also means the signs are relative to Canada and United States. If Canadian citizens, 85% are living paycheck to paycheck, and you have United States citizens living 80%, that means the majority of people that's coming is going to be the top 15 to the top 20% that have disposable income, and they're most likely going to stay in all inclusive places because they have the money. They're the ones making 180,000, 250,000. So they're going to go, oh hell yeah, I'll stay for $1,000 per night or $800 per night or 7 or 6 at the all inclusives. We don't have to do anything. So those are some of the things to think about. Here we go: diverse residential, lower end luxury market. Uh, I won't get into that. You guys, I put the link down below because this is getting crazy. Construction indicators. Do, 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 do. Yeah. Don't know. I don't. Residential construction costs. Yeah, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I was talking about. See these construction costs? Look, this right here was 2023. It went up 40%. And then it came back down a little bit, but notice it's above that 40%, and that's where they're coming up here around 240. And I'm assuming that's 240. Well, I don't know what that 240 represents, but all I'm saying is, oh, I know what it is. It's the way they calculate it from the office of the one. They actually use the like 240 index number. So in other words, I'll use this 220. This is also how you do inflation a different way. They're using their inflation numbers 220, and then it went up to 240. So then they do their division, and that's how they come up with, well, it's only 10% more. 220 to 240 is 10% more, right? That's how they do it. So like in 2024, when it dropped under 220, and then it went, let's call that 218, well, then they would go, well, that's a -2. So we're still up here, but it's -2 off of whatever the inflation rate was for the year. Then when it goes from 218 to 238, now you start doing another calculation for the following year in 2025. So it has risen a little. So you guys already know. Well, actually a lot, because it went from under 220 to almost 240. So that's 10% more. Construction costs are 10% more. So that's how we get up to the 220. Basically, I get what they're doing, but it's 10% more, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know. That's why the cost of construction is more. All right, hold on. Okay, we're on the screen, right on. Okay, let's go. EV Place says, looking ahead to 2035, the WTTC projects that the tourism sector can contribute over 29 billion to the Dominican Republic's GDP with an annual growth rate of 3.3% employment in the sector. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I'm not a fan. The reason I'm not a fan is when the United States hurts, the rest of the world hurts. When we, as citizens in the US, we're the consumer nations, we're the ones that go on vacation for the most part, just like Canada, just like the EU, which in the case of Dominican Republic, Canada and the EU is 60+% of all tourists coming to the island. So if tourists is what happened in, was it April, where it went down to 40 some percent, not 60, 40. Well, that puts a serious dent into occupancy rates and tourism numbers. So that's why I don't like a country using tourism numbers as some sort of indicator on what's going to happen. An annual growth of 3.3%, I would not recommend even thinking about this. From the tourism industry. The reason why is if we go 8.5 million by air last year, and this year it's only 8.8, that's not going to give you a 3% in tourism numbers. You're relatively going to have the same revenue numbers, if not less, because you don't know the makeup of the travel partners, if it's 2 people, 4 people, 3 people, or just one. So I still don't know that number. If I knew that number, it would be very helpful. Maybe they would have it in this. I'll read it a little bit more. But I'm not going out 10 years because I see failure coming in the next 3 years, starting now. This is why a lot of projects are going to have a problem selling their pre-construction because people don't have, oh, well, the 2 bedrooms are now 200,000. Now people got to put down 10%, 20,000. They're going back to 10% because people don't have this 20% fantasy land of 40,000 on things that don't even exist yet. Give us 40,000 and then make monthly payments at 1,000 a month. And then they're not seeing any immediate progress because how it works in DR, they start doing this crazy stuff where they'll sell something and the permits aren't coming for a year or a year and a half or 2 years. And they'll say it's going to be done in 2.5 or 3 years. And obviously they don't start until year 2. Well, then they can't build something in 2.5 or 3 years total. So now it's going to be late. And so it brings on a self-inflicted pain because now you have hundreds of thousands of units that are delayed because their immigration they're following United States lead. I would not advise. And they're taking all the Haitians that was doing the construction jobs, just like a lot of Latin and Guatemalans and all over Mexicans, but Latinos, I'll say, in the construction business because they're coming over to make a better life. So they're in a group. So they'll say, okay, all 5 of us get that house, whatever. And then we bring in whatever. And then, hey, put on the table. We pay all the bills and everybody just keep the pot growing. That's how they do it. Work together. So this is why I can't go by these projections 10 years out because their projections are all going to be off, especially this year if it only goes to 8.9 or 8.8 or even less than 8.5 by air. That means we have less revenues. And now how are you going to recoup if there's a great recession again in America, which there will be, and now for 2 or 3 years, nobody's buying. Now what are you going to do with all these properties that are sitting there? You know what's going to happen. People are going to sell. And some people who bought their unit in 2020, 2021, 2022, they're going to sell for less because they can. They bought their unit for $100,000 when it was only $800 per square meter to build. The other people have the same unit, but they have to pay. They paid 3 times as much. So this person that bought his for $80,000, he says, "Oh, I'll take this profit for $140." But the person that bought for $170, he can't sell his for $140. But the guy that paid, $80, he can sell his for $140 and take the $60K profit. That's how this is going to go down. All right. That's my prediction anyhow. We'll see if I'm going to be Nostradamus. Expected to reach approximately 980, indicating the creation of over 87,000 new jobs. See, these projections, just disregard. Just disregard projections. There's no way they can tell this from the next decade. There's no way. The reason why I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it again. If you're going to continue to base the bulk of everything on your tourism industry, you're going to get a cap. That's what's going to end up happening. You're going to reach a cap. You're going to go, it'll start stopping. They'll say, let's say you get up to 10 million a year. All of a sudden it stalls. That's 10 million. Now you have, not only do you have the 125,000 Airbnbs, now you're up to 200,000 Airbnbs. And now instead of 90,000 hotel rooms, you have 100,000 hotel units, which actually is going to be more than that because of all the projects. But I'll say 125,000. So now you've added 50,000 units, but you're only up to 10 million. You just added 2 more million in air passengers. That's not going to work because 10 million is not enough. Just so you guys understand. That's 900,000, 800,000 on average every month. That's not enough. That's only 200,000 per week. You have 250,000 units available. So between the two, and you're building more in 10 years, there's going to be 200. Well, it all depends. That's hard to say because if things fall like I think they will, it's going to be a problem. If your construction costs rise more than 3% from the time you sign promise to the time they transfer title, you pay difference. Check your contracts exactly. Actually, EV Place, most of the contracts, if you have a 2023 or 2024 contract, they have language of 3 up to 3% a year during your payment plan. So if like last year, if inflation was 4% in DR, you gotta either the different language, but 1% more. So if you bought something for 100,000, you're gonna owe $1,000. And some of them put it at the end, some of them added into your payment plan. So when they start this, the first year you pay 1,000 more, the next year, and you don't have that clause in there, which they started doing now, where they don't have pay up to will pay up to 3. Now they're putting it on the buyer saying, whatever the interest rate is, you pay. Can you imagine 5% more? You bought something for 150 and they're going $7,500 more. Wait, I'm buying this for 150. That's why you need a, if you don't need a lawyer really, but if you got a lawyer, you better get some cap on there or don't buy. I'm like, why even get yourself involved with pre-construction anymore? That's what it's like. If you see a contract that has this, we don't accept any responsibility for inflation, you're going to pay it. Inflation could be 10%. It could be 20%. Like in 2023, it was 40%. So they went and said, like in Panorama Garden and Parks, they said, hey, we need 18% now. Zeba, we need 15% more now. So don't think it can't happen. That's why if you sign contracts for pre-construction, you have to pay attention. You can't do just, oh yeah, I believe you, I trust you, it's all a good deal. No. So keep that in mind. So he's right about this. This 3% is going to cost you more if they don't accept it. So they started not accepting it now. A lot of contracts don't do this. We'll take the first 3% or 3.5. You take anything over that, you pay the difference for that year. So you can imagine this price increases where the average price for a one bedroom is now 170, a two bedroom is 200 to 250 on a condo, which is crazy, but that's what it is. And now all of a sudden, if it's 8% and it's 200 grand, I'm sorry, that's 16,000 more 1 year. And don't let it happen 2 years in a row where there's a recession, interest rates go up. Now you're going to have a problem. Just saying. Or interest rates will go down, but inflation will go up. So it's just bad news that way, ladies and gentlemen. Just be very careful. They're taking increase in construction prices index. Exactly. That's exactly right. They're using the construction price index. They're not using, I called it inflation, but you're exactly right. They aren't using the inflation number. What they're using in DR, it's even worse. They're going by the construction materials increase in price, which thank you so much, EV Place, for mentioning that because there is a distinction. So they'll say, oh, inflation in DR was only 6%. But now you go, well, hold on. The people you buy from go by the construction inflation index. He's exactly right. Thank you so much for clarifying that because I forgot that's what they do. And so if it's 10% and you don't have the clause or you didn't make an agreement where I either pay no additional and this is the price or I only will pay up to 5%, all of you who have, I'm going to only pay up to 5%, you pay 5%. The other people, they're getting paid 10% more this year. That's how it works. All right. So keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Evie, because that's significant. Because a lot of people will, and this is one of the things too. Let me get on screen. Here's one of the things. In the DR, a lot of the realtors, they don't really know this stuff. So they'll tell people what I just said erroneously. They'll say, oh, if inflation is only 4%, see, it was only 4% last year, and it was the year before was only 3%. So see, it's not that bad. So you guys would have done the same thing. I just made the same mistake. I forgot they do the construction inflation index. He's exactly right. So there is a difference, and it's huge. It's not the same as inflation, just so you know. So thank you so much, man. The one that's mentioned in this article, thank you so much, because I forgot all about that myself. And I haven't been selling any stuff in DR for a while because I don't agree with a lot of what the developers are doing, and they're messing with people's commission checks. So you guys might wonder why. You remember when you used to see a lot of realtors selling Dominican Republic, promoting it a lot, or like in 2000, 2019, 2018, 2021, and then it started slowly going down where all of a sudden it's because these these developers, these sellers of properties, they're cutting people checks and they're doing bull by not paying them. They're saying, "Oh, we have a lawsuit. Oh, something's happening. Oh," or paying short. "Oh, we know we have an agreement where it's 5% commission or 3% commission, but you know, we can only give you 1% right now, and then we're going to give you another 1% 6 months from now," or some BS like that. People who only make a few sales cannot rely on some guy when you thinking, "Oh wow, 3% on 100,000 is 3 grand." Well, in the DR, that's a lot of money. If the average is 11,000 a year, come on now. Then all of a sudden they tell you, "Well, here's $500. We'll get you the rest of the money a few months from now." You sell some more stuff, they lock you up. And now if you say F you, they say, "Oh, then we ain't gonna pay you the rest of the commission." That's the kind of crap they're doing over there. So that's why you don't see that many realtors in the DR all gung ho anymore. Used to see them everywhere. Now you can barely even find anybody coming out with new construction videos or anything. It's not the same as it was in 2020, but 2023 and before. And that's because they don't have enough people now, because they burnt through all those thousands of people that were gun ho because they're in the DR. They only average 11,000 a year, and they're getting, "Oh, you'll get $2,000 if you sell this property in commission." And then when time comes, wait, why is this $800? What's going on? "Oh, don't worry, you'll get the next in 6 months." So the people keep selling. Now they sold a few more properties. Now all of a sudden, "Oh, here's $1,000. Wait, you owe me like 7 grand. Sue us, bro." Now you leave because you're upset. Now they don't pay you. Sue me, bro. That's why, you guys. All right. Learned a lot last year. Like I said, because I was over there trying to do takeover. I was over there trying to help people. I'm putting together the crew, and then I'm starting to find out the abuses. And then I go, "Oh, this is why I don't see everybody selling real estate anymore. They're taking increase." Um, let's see. Yeah, this one's mentioned in the article. Exactly. Well, thank you for that, man. Beautiful. I'm glad you helped me out with this. There are links in the article so you can download PDF of this index data. Yeah, I put a link. Already put a link in here. If you're in Dominican Republic, again, I don't. This is good for people to get information on, because this is information that I go through, but I go through on a monthly basis. Not all of this. I only care about the air numbers, and I care about the construction index. But that doesn't really affect me or anybody else as much, because I tell everybody, get a lawyer. Or if you don't get a lawyer, then make sure there's a clause in there that you have a cap. So you would say, if they say, "Hey, we can do this," I go, "No, I don't. I want, if you're saying you're going to cover 3%, then I want a cap." Or if they say they don't put it in there, if they don't put it in there, you're still subject to them. They have to say specifically, either This is the price, no price increase, or which nobody's going to do anymore, or they're going to do this. You're responsible for any inflationary costs based on the one, which is the statistics office. And that's also what they don't tell you is it's the ICDV. That is different. So he's exact. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't understand that's a construction index and it could be 20%. And it's not going to be pretty if you bought something for 200,000 and now you owe 40,000 more. You're going to be like, well, then this was no deal. If I was going to have to pay the increase in price, then what's the point of doing? I'll just wait, which is what I'm doing right now because I think there's going to be some deals in about a year and a half to in about a year actually. Next year, I think just like right now, they stopped that 20% down nonsense and they went back to 10% down. A lot of people said, oh, 10% because they realized Americans and Canadians aren't willing to put down that type of money anymore, more than that 20% number. So they started going back to 10 and then giving people that gives you a better, payment plan if you take it 3 years out instead of 2 years or 2.5. Now you're at 36 to 48 months. And now they started doing 48 months as well, because that's generally when they even start halfway finishing anything around there. So, all right. Anyhow, currently 2-bedroom Santo Domingo, 1,600 per month. Dominican Republic's rent price index has come down. Oh, looky, looky, looky. Looky, looky. What a shock. Looky, looky. 2023, 2024. Wow. Yep. Again, you have less tourists, less people that's going to stay long term. This makes perfectly good sense. And I expect it to go down again this year because there's going to be less tourists again. I think these are direct correlations. That's the way I look at these. Mortgage mark. Oh, don't even. Mortgage rates, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you see the line, 12%. You see it, 2024, 10.35. Yep, and in 2025, 12 in November, 12.52. Banco, that's the central bank. Jesus. You see what we're saying? The mortgage rates are outrageous, just so you guys understand. Interest rates, what's this? Oh, this is the housing loans. What was that then? I thought that was that. Oh, it is the mortgage rate. So, oh, housing loans. What's the red line? Housing loan rates, foreign currency. That's the USD. US dollar. US dollar has lower interest rates, just so you guys know. The peso is going to be at 12 or higher, 13%, 13.5, all crazy numbers. No shocker. It looks like it's 8.5% is roughly where everybody's reporting. It's usually only for like a year up to 5 years that you'll have fixed. And then after that, they start doing adjustables and you're at over 12. Most banks. Yeah, it is underdeveloped mortgage market. There's an opportunity there, quite frankly. Loans for housing purchases, 5.4 billion. All right, robust. Okay, GDP growth. I can't do this. Look, you guys can see where these lines are. The red one is inflation. The blue one is real GDP. Look, they're mirroring each other. That is not a good sign. We need real GDP, the blue line, to be up here. We don't need these lines intersecting because that means you're not getting ahead. You're spending it's less, you're not making a headway. If you make 11,000 and inflation is the same as last year and your wage did not go up, that means your purchasing power is being reduced. That's not good. Nationwide inflation stood at 3.84% in May 2025. So remember before when I was talking about inflation for the housing and buying and all that, that was incorrect. I can't use this 3.84. We need to know what the ICDV number is, the construction price index number is. It's probably higher than 3.84%. It could be. Unemployment. It's pretty low. Well, wait. No, it's over 5. That's not pretty low. And that means wages would go up. All right, that's it. I'm done with that one. All right, EV Place. Links in the art. Oh, yeah, the links are at the bottom. I put this down here. In fact, you know what? Let me go see. Housing. Wait a minute. Here it is. No. Housing price. No, that's Prop Star. That's not what I want. Gross, tourism, demand, tourism. I don't see the one here. It's probably in here somewhere. I'm just going by it fast because I don't want to be on here all day, all night, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys, but can't be on here all day, all night. All right, we'll go close this one out. My real estate guy from DR has that case with his customer and Avalon. Same from McCow Hills. He was able to negotiate and Avalon drop this charge. There you go. Yeah, they didn't even have it at first. Well, they didn't even address it at first, as far as I recall, at least the Macau. But they changed it. But that's great, man. That's what you have to do, ladies and gentlemen. You have to negotiate this. You do not want to have open-ended price increases that they can actually say whatever they want. Now, remember, just because you can go over and see the construction price index and see it's 3%, let's say, that doesn't mean that they're just going to go, it's 3%. They're going to go, oh, it's 3% for the cement, and it was 5% for this, and it was 2% for that. So actually, our cost is actually more than that. That's what they're going to say. They can say anything. So you don't want to leave it up to them. You want to put a cap on it. All right. I had this discussion with somebody at Seven Palms about this when they were putting 3%. I mean, sorry, where they were putting that ICDV number in there instead of the inflation rate. And so my argument was, well, what if the construction cost is like what happened before? What if it's 15 or 20%? They're like, well, the person would have to pay 15 or 20% more. I was like, then what's the purpose of even buying pre-construction? If I can just wait until you guys finish building it and I could be using that money to be making money on the stock market, why would I do that? I by the time you build something around here, the average now, even them now is messed up because they had to get a new developer. So now they were always on time. They're the last ones. They're not going to be on time, so they lose it. There's no pre-construction project on time. That's a real project. I'm talking about that actually has pools and event rooms and cafes and snack bars and all that. A real one, fitness center, uh, you know, many amenities, not just a pool. They're all late by 4, 5, 6 years. So I was like, well, if you're going to take 4, 5, 6 years to build something, and I have 4, 5, 6 years in an upward market in the United States, and I can earn 10% a year on this $20,000, that's $2,000 a year that I get for free. So why would I give it to you? I would give you the 20,000 and now I have to make the 2,000, or well, my monthly payment, let's just say, is 1,000. And then I got to give you money. Meanwhile, I could in 5 years I'll have 30,000 liquid without any risk. So if it's going to cost me a little more money, so be it. But at least now I have more down payment that I didn't have to create myself. And by the way, the 20,000 in 5 years is going to be more than 30 because it's 10%. I'm using 10%. That's JEPQ stock symbol, 10%. So therefore, well, maybe it's not 10% anymore because I think I saw it at $54. No, it's still 10% because they're giving out more than They're giving out more than $5 a share, or $55.40. So yeah, it's $6 and something, I believe. So yeah, it's still more than 10%. But my point is, the second year you have 22,000, and now you're getting 10% on top of the 22. So all I'm saying is, you would have over 30. You'd be like 32, 33, something like that in 5 years. So now I have free money coming. And now I have the opportunity. If I don't really like your project, I'll get something from somebody else. So why even bother? I'll send you I'll send you the more, Eric. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm pretty ahead on this EV place because I study their I go in and I go to the one and I go and look at numbers because I'm a vacation rental guy. So I need to know specific numbers. I need to know where we're headed with construction costs. I'm not really in tune. I don't really care that much about the construction costs because whatever they're asking is the price. If you're buying, then you need to be concerned with the construction price increases. But and you need better know about the tourism numbers. Wherever you're buying at, you need an upside on tourism. You don't need a level off because anything built after, once it levels, that means that's more competition. And that means the inevitable is going to happen. There'll be an implosion, like what's happening right now. Since there's not that many tourists and it's low season, you can stay anywhere there for a week for about, if you're staying in an Airbnb, you can get an Airbnb for like 300 to 450. I'm talking about all over, whether you're staying in Bavaro, whether you're staying in Pueblo, Bavaro, whether you're staying in Vista Cana, whether you're staying at Cana Bay, you can get a week for anywhere between 300, so that's $60, $50. No, less than that. $40. $40 a night to $50 a night all over in Punta Cana right now. Why? Because you don't have 1 million tourists by air coming. If I had to guess how many people's coming in July, I would say, I mean, I can't even guess right now. Probably 600. That's what I would think. 600 and something for the month of July. And that's 150,000 by air. Now you divide it by two, which is two people on average, which I don't know the average. I wish I did. But if common sense would say two is an average, so that means we go down to 75,000 rooms are needed. We have 125,000 Airbnbs, and we have, oh, and Punta Cana, you have 30, what is it, 35 or 40,000 hotel rooms. So you guys can start figuring out numbers when you only have potentially 75,000 to 35,000 rooms is needed for Airbnbs, and you have 125,000 Airbnbs. You can see the problem. So we need 13, 14 million by air passengers to make this all make sense, which we could get there. We could get there. We can get there. All right. Offering memorandum of DR. Really? You have one of them? For bond? Oh, yeah, but their bonds are like 70 cents or something. Yeah, yeah, they're not that. Yeah, yeah, they're not. They're like, aren't they like? They're like 70 cents, man. Right, 6.9. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't mean 70 cents. Right, seven. Right, exactly. Just what you said. Exactly right. My mind is thinking several things, but yeah, 6.95 is their bond rate. Exactly. Seven. That's what I meant by 70. It was like 7.0. Yeah, that's in my head. Yeah, but the bonds are like 70 cents. This is what they're like 73 cents. Something like that. It's not that much. Jesus Christ, man. That's not 1 million. That's 1 billion. Oh, look at this. 2055. I don't know who's going to do that. I don't know who's going to do that. They don't have any. First of all, they don't have any tax base from their citizens. This is another huge mistake that they're doing, in my opinion. If you want if you want to have bonds dictate what they feel about your country, right? So since you're not like a major manufacturing, you're not a major player. So therefore, they have to do crazy stuff like this. 7% return in a, what is that, a 2055, a 30-year bond? Okay, 7% a year. But that's high risk, high rewards. This is a developing nation. They could default. If they don't get a loan from Japan and they don't get a loan from the IMF and they don't get a loan from the USA and they don't get a loan from some other countries in the hundreds of millions, then they're done because there's no manufacturing, enough manufacturing to increase their citizens to do the tax. And eventually, that little teaser they did at the end of last year, Abinader said, I'm going to charge taxes, and people lost their mind. About to lose 20% of your money. That's going to happen sooner or later because they can't keep getting loans because they're going to have to pay 7%, 6.95%. You understand? Well, hold on. The citizens have to pay that. And the citizens only make 11,000 on average. That's not gonna be good. So when he says I need 18%, 20%, or whatever the number was, crazy, that's on 11,000, that's over $2,000. Now that means you're only making 9,000. That doesn't leave you much. That's that puts you in a world of hurt. And if you don't have the manufacturing or job base to give people higher wages, which is what they should be working on instead of giving these hotels free passes due to comfort tour, all that taxation that they're losing out on is atrocious. Can you believe this? I mean, they're building all kind of tourism projects. We're talking about in the trillions of dollars. And they're sitting there going, oh, yeah, we can't tax the rich dudes. I mean, we'll give you comfort tour. And then you're not even tax, the 3% sales tax is gone as well for the individuals buying, which is okay, fine, but you should be really taxing the developers. I mean, what? You're going to worry about them not selling to one of the hottest markets on the planet? You got to use what to your advantage. What are they going to go? Oh yeah, well, we're not going to build anything because you guys are one of the hottest tourism destinations on the planet. Well, we don't want to pay the taxes to build anything over there. You should be like, okay, because we're dying. You're letting the IMF, the United States, and other powerful nations give you loans. And when you can't pay those loans, you're going to be giving up whatever little assets you have. So, are you paying attention to your next door neighbor, Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory? Are you paying attention to what the governments from around the world has siphoned from Haiti because they can't pay back their loans? Seriously. Oh, you think you're special. I see. You guys got a lot to learn. Do you know what America is? Come on, man. Stop playing. All right? Stop playing out here, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the fallacies that happens with minorities in America. And actually, everybody in America, every color spectrum, you feel it's not going to happen to me because I'm special. But if you're a minority, such as black and brown, I don't know why you would think you're special as far as your government treating you fairly when they never have. So now you have an island over there that shares a past such as Haiti, and you're thinking that your friends are these same people. That is crazy thinking. And you're listening to them. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're going to get some loans from us. As long as you do this, this, and this, and sign up your people who opens up bank accounts to make sure we can take money out of their bank accounts. You sign this piece of paper. Then we're going to give you some more money. We'll give you the billions and trillions of dollars, but we're going to put up these massive data centers over there. And, you guys are going to have to pay and give us free land and all that because we're going to be bringing these high paying jobs. Yeah. What do you mean? The freaking 150 jobs? Come on now. That's what they're doing. They're gonna do the same okey doke that they do in Texas, that they do in Cali, that they did up in Oregon, did up in Utah, did up in Denver, talking about we're gonna have thousands of jobs because they have 10,000 people building the data center. After that's built, they're gone bye-bye, and then they do 100 jobs. They're going to try and do the same thing in the DR. They are going to do it. I don't know how they're going to do it because you need a grid that's going to hold all that power. But that's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. Just be careful. Well, you don't have to be, but the government, if you're going to be in real estate, you have to understand all the playing dynamics that's going to happen. You need the citizens there to make more money. You want that. You don't want them all to be 11,000 a year when you're buying property over there for 300,000 or 200,000 or 150 or 100,000. I want Dominicans to be able to stay at my place too. I need a lot more than just the top 10% of them. There's only 12 million people. I need more than a million people being able to afford my place. I need half the country to afford my place. Come on, let's get real. So that's what, as an investor, you want to see. Everybody has their own reasons for something. The IMF, the United States, Japan, and all those guys who are buying their bonds, they are looking at whatever little resources DR has. They're going, you know what? These dudes are going to default because they can't tax their citizens 30% or 20%. So we know they're going to default. So we'll be taking their assets. They're going to pay us they're going to have to give up something. And if they say no, well, you can say no all you want. All of a sudden, you're not getting funding. They'll call your notes due. Then you got to go see the World Trade Organization, and you know who they're backed by, and see what mishap is about to happen to your country. Playing with the devil, I'm telling you. That's why I'm giving you advice, DR. Get your stuff together for your citizens because that gives you more power. Because you don't need anybody else once your citizens are making more money. Substantially more. Try twice as much. Stop giving the rich dudes all the free stuff and cuts and all that. Make them pay so then you can build up your lower and middle classes, get them nice jobs. So now you can implement a tax strategy. Just saying, man. Come on, this ain't rocket science. Let's go. All right, here we go. I'm going to close this out in about 10 minutes. Make sure you smash that like button. I'm going off on some real estate from the Dominican Republic, but it applies to Thailand too. It applies to Vietnam too. It applies to Colombia too. All these countries that people are going to buy these pre-constructions or cheap properties, Mexico, all this stuff. There's one thing in common. The global powers have an IOU from them so they can extract natural resources, which is the lifeblood from any country. So keep that in mind. Eric, would you be my guest if I will offer you free unlimited AC comparing to pay per use in others? Of course. Would you be my guest if I will offer you free unlimited AC comparing to pay per use in others? Oh, you mean, yeah. Of course, everybody would take you up on it, but I would not advise that. If we're talking, I know you own property in several places, but I'm not advising that in the DR. You do realize if you do that, when people leave out of their unit, they will leave the AC on in all the freaking rooms. You know that's going to cost you on a day. That could be $30, $40 in that day. You start doing that 20 times, you're not going to want an $800 bill and you're charging these people $50, $60, $70 a day or $100 a day. That's not going to be in your plan because you're going to need, even if you are in your spot, in the one you have in Los Corrales, and it's 70%, I don't even know what you can charge right now. I mean, you might have an idea, but I don't think you're going to be able to charge $175 a night. I mean, maybe you can during high season, but the other 8 months a year, I don't, I don't see how that's going to happen. You might get 50. I don't know how it would work. Not in this environment with this type of tourism numbers. So I would not do that. I don't recommend doing that. That's not going to sway anybody. Why? Why even do it? The only reason I say that is just like this. If 99% of all Airbnbs are charging people a deposit or having them go down and pay per use by loading up the energy, then why would you be the one to say no and take the risk? Because if you do that, you have to understand you don't know what's going to happen with your electric bill every month. That's, you don't know. Even though you might go, well, I'm charging people $200 per night. It works for me. But what if your electric bill's $50 a day? Because people were like, oh, yeah, I'm going to wash clothes. We just came back from the beach. Oh, by the way, we just went to the pool. I smell like chlorine, man. I'm going to wear these 2 days from now. I'm going to wash again. You know that 240 volt over there is crazy, man. So I wouldn't have that liability at all. That's why I don't recommend jacuzzis, because once again, if they're doing pay per use, that's fine. But the jacuzzis are running not usually 110s, 240s. So now we have the same rules. When they leave, am I changing the water? What am I doing with the water? When my guest is coming in the next 12 hours, the people are checking out at 10. My guests are trying to check in at 4. If you're having a nice little, you know, Los Corrales 70% rental, you're going to have back to backs. And if you have a jacuzzi, what are you going to do? They don't have holes up top that drains jacuzzis. You guys know that. They don't have something that's nice and easy where you can drain and fill. And even if you are draining and filling, your water bill, what is it? Who's going to put the chemicals in? All these things add up. That's why I don't recommend jacuzzis on your in your condos or villas, because before the people come, you have to run the filter system, and that filter system and the DR, the electricity is expensive. I mean, I don't see why you want to take on these extra expenses when you're going to have to add that into what people pay, which now means you're going to be at a disadvantage because you're going to have to charge more. And some people are like, I don't care about a jacuzzi. And there's a jacuzzi at the pool, or there's a jacuzzi at the beach club or whatever. No, no. Those days of jacuzzis and all that, I think is over. My opinion. Why take the risk? Because you're gonna, and then when you need maintenance and upkeep, that's more money. Because you need maintenance and upkeep all the time. So you're wasting all this money and doesn't gain you any real extra dollars in your pocket. One way or another, you're gonna have to charge more, which now means you're gonna be at risk at losing potential customers more than you would gaining. In my opinion, from experience, that's what basically's happened. Now, if you're in like post-retirement travels, Margaritaville, that's like an all-inclusive type thing. Well, you can do whatever you want. But the fact of the matter is, we've talked about it over the years. All the people who had their jacuzzis on their deck, the majority of them don't even cut them on. And there's a reason, because when they get their bill, they see on there, oh, we had to do this with the jacuzzi. We had to replace this with the jacuzzi. It's all messed up. So they didn't like all of a sudden seeing all these extra charges. Never mind the cleanup on aisle 5. So there you go. All right. I'm going to get out of here in a second. But no, I would take you up on your offer. But here's what I'm going to say, EV Place. Here's the deal. So I'll use your condo. All right. So if I stayed in the 2 bedroom and you go, hey, I'm going to include the AC. You include the AC. Now I go look and I see in your same complex, instead of you charging me 225 a night, some guy's got 110 a night. I'm like, well, this guy's going to give me free AC, but I know I'm not even going to spend but $5 or $6 per day. So why am I going to pay one or two something or 195? I'm like that's not going to move me. Now, one thing though is most people are not return visitors. So they may think that that's a good deal, but again, if they see a discrepancy of you charging 195 and another person's charging 110, now they don't really know if it is actually a good deal or not. They know 110 is less than 195. I'm just saying. And I never recommend two things: no jacuzzi, and I never recommend in the DR or anywhere where it's pay per use electricity. I never recommend you paying. The tenants who's staying should always pay. Just like if you rented a house, there is no way you're going to sit there and tell somebody, "Oh yeah, your rent is 3,500, and that includes electricity." That is ill advised on all fronts. You're going to find out real fast when your bills start rolling in and you're like, what is this, $500 for electricity on a 3,000 square foot house and it's springtime? The weather is like perfect. And you're looking at this like AC. What the? It doesn't say AC, but you know, the electric bill. You're like, holy smokes, what's happening? Summertime comes, bills are 700. Yeah, you don't want to do that. The Republic will apply to list the bonds on the official list of the Luxembourg Stock Exchange and for trading on the Euro MTF. They already list their bonds, but I think it's direct buy with the central bank. Yeah, they're not anywhere else because the you generally, to be on a major stock exchange, you have to have certain numbers. Like I don't think they're going to accept 70. I think it's 73 cents. That's what I really think it is. I think it's 73 cents. Well, it was around that. I don't. Let's see. Wait. Here we go. He's talking something else. Solar panels. Okay. Analysis made my joint book, running managers, J.P. Morgan, Citigroup. Joint book. I'm not familiar with joint book. It's possible with solar panels installation and battery setup worth 3K. Now you're talking my language. Now you can entertain running the electricity. But again, you're the one that's got to maintain all this stuff. Just saying. Just saying. And for what, see, my thing is it's a trade off, just like any investment, right? So if you go, Eric, it's 3K, I'm going to get unlimited AC. Now, my next question is okay, so everybody's doing pay per use is charging 110 a night. What are you going to charge to include AC? That's the multi-million dollar question. So if somebody's charging 110 and you say it's 145, it's a catch 22. Some people are going to look, not even realize you include AC unless it's in your headline or title. And then what else can you do at this point? Now that there's a difference in price, but why? Most people don't even look at the freaking descriptions. I put in my descriptions, I say, please contact me before booking. You know how many people do this? Because it's in the description on Airbnb? Less than 1 out of 100. All they see is the price, the dates are available. They might see, like, oh, do I have to pay any fees anywhere? It's available. Let me book this. I, I hardly ever get anybody to ever ask me about what's in the description. So that's why when you have somebody book something, I also have in there, hey, you got to check in anytime after 4 p.m., check in anytime before, check out anytime before 10 a.m., and you check in at the front desk in and out just like you would a normal hotel. So even though I have this in my description, I also put it in the instructions because once they book, then that's what gets spit out to them. It gives them the address and it gives them the blurb, check-in instructions. But hardly anybody ever looks at my thing, and then people are sending me stuff like, "Hey, when is check-in?" It's in my description, but they don't go down that far usually. So I'm just letting you know. Solar panels. So if you go with the solar panels, what are you going to call it? 70 low season, 120 high season for one bedroom penthouse with terrace is possible in my estimations. Okay. Well, EV Place, what did you buy it for? That's the $1 million question. And since you're an investor, you can do your diversity and you put them all together. You put all your prices together, all your profits together. So you may be one of those rare individuals that says, well, I'm in the stock market, I'm in the real estate game, I'm in the Airbnb game. I make different profits. Like you're doing 27.5 with your stock portfolio so far for 3 months. But then you go, well, okay, I can take a 7% annual on that because overall I'm still good. I'm making money. I make money from here. I make money from there. I make money from all these different places. So then you might be one of those guys that go, okay, 7% is good for me for annuals. But why take a chance? You've already purchased. How much do you think you'll be able to rent 70 low season, which is now, and 120 high season, which is the end of December through about, depending on Easter, through about April, right? So, um, one bedroom, 120 right now. So just so everybody can see in real time, I I look at, you're talking about a one bedroom penthouse. I know where it is. I know where it is. I think your purchase price is just going to go up because of that stupid staircase that they're trying to charge you for, knowing full well there was nobody that was going to co-sign for that and allow it, which is kind of messed up. They just did it, and I'm surprised by that developer too. That's shocking, quite frankly. All right, so just so everybody knows, we'll do some things. This is what we do. I got time tonight. I wasn't going to be on that long, but you know what? The wife filled me up with some drinks and stuff. Just so you guys know, had my rum and coke before I started. Didn't really fill me up. Trust me. We're talking about 6 ounces of rum and coke. That's it. You'll know if I add more than that. More than I need 3 or 4 of those before I start feeling anything. But nonetheless, bonus. All right, you sent me a bonus, man. What's this bonus? Prospectus. What's this? Let's go see. We got something else from the investor. He gave me some other things. Wait, it's not opening. I'm gonna have to download it. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I see. Cool, man. He sent me a damn prospectus. Hold on a second. What happened to it? Oh man, I had it. It's hiding. Here it is. Oh, I saw it. This is the prospectus bonds. Oh wow. They're doing a 12-year at 6.9, but they want $2 billion. See, this is how you print money, ladies and gentlemen. See, again, they need the money, so they're going to create bonds. They're going to pay 7%. That is yeeks. Wow, that's actually it's Luxembourg. So somebody's gonna give them 2 billion. Somebody's gonna give them 2 billion. But now you're putting, just like America, you're putting yourself at risk because you're gonna have to pay 7% of this 2 billion. If that's interest only, right? You're gonna have to give it up. Let me go look at some numbers. What is that? Is that I think that's is that four hold on a second. Is that 14? Let's go. 6.95. Let's see. Whoa. Yeah, that's 139 million every year on the 2 billion bond, and that's 70. They're going to owe 200. They got a 7.1 here too. They're going to be they're going to be paying they're going to be paying 200. Hold on a second. This can't. That is 1/3. They're going to be paying they're going to owe over 200 million. Let me see. 70. Yeah, this is going to be 210 million on bond money. And here's the thing, you're going to print this $3 billion, allows them to print the peso, $3 billion in pesos. They're going to get this. I think. I think they're going to get it. It's Luxembourg. I think they're going to get it. Backed by Citigroup and JP Morgan is to boot. Yeah, they're going to get this. And now, where are they going to get the $210 million a year to pay their bonds? And that causes inflation because you're printing $2 billion. Well, that's US, I think. Oh, so they're printing all these pesos. 200 million US is, oh Jesus. 200, I mean, 3 billion in US is how much? I don't even know, man. I can't even, that's a crazy number. But now they're going to owe interest of a 7%. Every year, 210 million US is owed. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, forgive me. I just gotta look at this. This has a serious implications. 200 million owed. No. GDP for Dominican Republic 2024. It was on that list, but I can't remember the GDPs because I don't concern myself with GDP, quite frankly. I just concern it with, okay. Oh, wow. There, it was estimated to be 124 billion. Oh, no. So they're giving up 200 million. They're thinking, okay, we can do this. Dominican Republic ranked 64th out of 196 countries in the GDP ranking. I need to know how they're calculating their GDP because this is crazy, in my opinion. 210 million a year. And so somebody would start asking, if you make 124 billion, why would you need 200 million? You see, this doesn't make any sense. You should have 200 million. That's if you're willing to pay out 200 million on, well, they're getting 3 billion. But why would you want 3 billion? Your GDP is 124 billion, 124 billion. That doesn't make sense. And I guess it's worth 124.28 billion in US dollars in 2024. That was the final number. So they were pretty close. 124.3 billion. And they're asking for 3 billion and willing to pay somebody 7%. Jesus. That is crazy. They're going to get it because Citibank, Citigroup, and JP Morgan are backing it. So it's going to happen. All right. I was going to go to Airbnb. I see you still have that jacuzzi in your memory. Hey, man, I do. That's the worst nightmare. I tell everybody, don't do it. Right now, it's $50 per night in Los Corrales. Exactly. This is low season. That's what I was just trying to tell you. It's $40 to $50 for 7 nights. Oh, and get this. You put in 7 nights, sometimes they even give you an additional discount because you did a 7-night purchase. It's crazy. And that's not just in Los Corrales, it's in Cana Bay, it's in Pueblo Bavaro, which is where Jardines is, it's in Vista Cana, it's all over the place. It's downtown, all over. So you have no advantage, is my point. And so when we were talking about when you invest, you want a project. If you're going to do investments in condos and villas, you want to be inside gated community that has a lot of amenities, because this same situation is always going to come up. Somebody's going to go, okay, well, why should I stay at your place when I could stay in Los Corrales for $50 per night? And like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I'm not at the beach. Los Corrales is close to the beach. You can be at the beach in 5 minutes. So people go, yeah, and the beach is 5 minutes away. Why should I pay more at your spot? And then when you start saying things like, in this case, we'll talk about DR, it's Vista Cana. I'll say, okay, I always tell people this. I've said this before. Renters call me up. I want to stay at the beach. I go, okay, do you really? They say yes. I say, all right, how much is the beach? They say, oh, it's $250 a night. I said, yeah, okay. So at the beach, you don't have basketball court, pickleball courts, fitness center, fitness room. You don't have um, restaurants in your location, because beach places, unless they're nice, like a well-known hotel chain, generally will not have everything. They're definitely not going to have the pickleball, the basketball, and all this stuff. So then I say, they go, yeah. I said, and you can still go to the beach. They have a free shuttle, and you have ocean view. They're like, well, how far away? I said, well, it's 10 minutes away, and you're by shopping with stores. I'm like, everything that you don't have at the beach, you have here, and you pay less. And they're like, damn, less is good, especially when you're paying like less than $200 per night. All of a sudden, it's like ching ching. It's like, hold on a second. We can save like over $1,000 if we just stay at his spot, and we have all these amenities that we don't actually have to leave the compound. Pretty much, that means a lot. All right, so I was going to go to Los Corrales. In fact, I'm on Airbnb right now. So here's what I'm going to do. He's right. It's that rate right now, but nobody has an advantage. The reason why nobody has an advantage also is because the place is not full. It's low season. I would be willing to bet you they have less than 600,000 total passengers by air to the island, which means 60% of those 600 is 360,000 passengers for the month. You divide it by 4, that's 90,000 air passengers for each week during the month. If you have 125,000 Airbnbs and you have 90,000 hotel rooms, Now you understand why rooms are going to be $50 per night by the beach, less than a 5-minute walk to the beach. And Los Corrales is the best tourism spot, basically, because within 5 minutes, restaurant, bars, nightclubs, casino, and the beach, and beach clubs. You have it all within less than 5-minute walk. And you can get $50 per night. So it's going to be very hard right now to tell somebody, oh, yeah, don't spend $50 a night right there. Come over to Vista Cana and spend $100 a night because we have man-made beaches. We have a beach club. We have restaurants. We have a nightclub. And they're just going to go, okay, so I have all of that too. And I'm paying $50 per night. And I'm actually right by the real beach. So there's no advantage. But when they have the sports complex there with the skateboard, the rock climbing, the soccer fields, the baseball field, the basketball court, the pickleball court, the tennis lessons, now all of a sudden that's an added bonus. Now somebody might rethink this because I have a family of 4. What's my kids going to do? Now all of a sudden somebody says, well, hey, hold up, there's some value here. And then when you say, hey, we got the shuttle, I don't know if Vistacon has ever done that, but if we have the shuttle down to the beach, now it's like, well, then staying at the beach is really no advantage. If we can get down to the beach free, hopefully they do the right thing around there, free, but I doubt it. But nonetheless, that would be your situations, your arguments. And so people have a choice. Oh, man. All right. Enough. We got to go. No one likes extra fees. Exactly. Airbnb, even marketing themselves is all price included, but look like except DR. Yeah. In a lot of developing nations, people have to pay for the electricity when they show up. DR is not the only one. It's like a lot of countries. You got to pay extra. And in fact, they charge resort fees, right? Energy fees is what you call in a lot of areas. So they're paying it. They're just calling it something else. Eric, 57K for a 1-bedroom in Blue Marlin. What? With problem with outside spiral steps. Are you saying you bought this 57K 1-bedroom penthouse unit? Damn. Congratulations, man. This is what the prices were, ladies and gentlemen, a few years ago, 3-4 years back. Congratulations. Because now his $50 per night charge, even though that's the going rate because it's low season, he's not losing a lot. But think about all these other people who are buying these 1-bedrooms around there for 170 grand. And they are seeing people charge $350 for a week, $400 for a week. And they should be at 0.1%, which means they should be at 170. And imagine that they have to go, oh, damn, I got to charge $50 a night just to even get some rentals. Damn, that's a big, big hit. And you're not going to get 71. Well, I don't know if you get 71 right now. The average will be 71 through the year. That includes the high season, but the low, I don't know what the numbers are in low season. I would be willing to bet you it's around 30 or 40%. There's all kind of units available. So you're not going to be able to rent for 170 or 1-bedroom now that you bought. So we have people buying at Maple Beach, 1-bedroom, 170, right? That I gave a shout out to Cheryl Henderson and her Boardwalk Properties. So that's where these problems are going to come into effect. And that's why, guess what? The only thing I mess with right now is if you're interested in properties in the DR, a lot of people are selling their 6-month-old, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old condos because they bought them at the higher, like he bought his for 57. At one time, you could get a 1-bedroom for 79,000. Another time, it's 89. Then another time, it's 99. All these people are ahead of everybody. So now they're sitting there going, well, this isn't working for me. I bought mine for 80,000 and I got to charge $50 a night. And I'm only getting a week's worth of rental during the summer time, 3 months, 4 months. It's only, hell, my HOA is $200 a month. And now I'm only getting 350, so I'm getting 150, and now I got to do all this other extra work for 150 for the 7 nights it was rented this month, or the 14 nights it was rented. I get $300, and I got to keep a cleaning crew. Or wait a minute, am I going to keep a cleaning crew? Yeah, I'm going to charge the person an extra $45 housekeeping. Great, but now I got to structure them, call them up. There's a lot of extra things going on, and if you're sitting there going, well, I'm only going to make $150, $200 for the month for renting 14 nights, and heaven forbid if you have a mortgage. So now that's all gone. So again, this is why you can't just willy-nilly go, oh yeah, I'm going to go buy a 1 bedroom in Los Corrales for 170,000 pre-construction. You should hit me up, because there's people selling for less. Like people at Paseo del Mar, they have like 8 people trying to sell their 1 bedrooms for 120. These things are only like 3 years old. I mean, but there's a lot of people selling units there. And so they know they finally went through a cycle, and just what he just said, 350, 400, 450 is all I can get for a week generally for a lot of places there. So until you fill those spots, nobody's going to pay a higher price. That's why you need the tourism numbers high. Because there's no reason. If I have 50 places that is charging anywhere from 250 to 450, then it's going to be awfully hard for you to charge 1,000, or hardly charge. You can charge 885, 900. It won't matter. People are, you have too many units below 900, well below 900, half price. And those people that are doing half price, they're going to have the same or better unit than you, unless you do something like EV Place, going to OP and Furniture. I'm just saying, and make your place stand out a different way. EV Place, just remember, in America, people are getting extra fees. Remember, we have resort fees, we have energy fees. People are used to paying extra fees now. This is not like nothing's included anymore. I mean, yeah, you go to the hotels now, but they got resort fees. So you're actually paying for the energy cost, right? Just keep that in mind. Outside of America, it's not unlimited usage. I mean, at a hotel might be, but not at Airbnbs. No. Will you pay 20 more? No. Per night with no. Private terrace, far ocean view. No. Be first, okay. It's me. So I'm different. I can't really say for anybody else. Somebody else might want to chime in if they would. We have an open chat room. Let them know what you guys would do. For me personally, no, because the ocean view doesn't really faze me. And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't. When I have ocean views, okay, let's put it this way. The hotel or where I'm staying, they say, Eric, you want an ocean view? Okay, I'll take ocean view. When I open the door, I see the ocean. But here's the thing. When I go somewhere, I'm not sitting in my room looking at the ocean. So I get up in the morning, I see the ocean, sit out there, maybe drink some tea or coffee or water or whatever, and sit there. Then I get dressed, and then I'm gone. We're gone for almost all day. We're out by the beach. We're out going to some place to eat and drink. We're doing stuff. Then I come home. No, don't forget happy hour. I'm doing happy hour too, of course. So now it gets to be like 7 at night, 8 at night in wintertime, because I'm talking about DR. 7 or 8 at night, it's dark. I get back in my room. You know what it looks like? It looks like nothing. I can see some stars or the moon maybe on the horizon giving some glitter off the ocean, but I'm not sitting on my patio balcony or in my bedroom or in the living room looking at the water. That's the little fallacies. You're usually out doing something. So it sounds nice to be at the water. It's nice to see it, but you can go to the beach on every island. Same thing. So that's why for me, I'm not paying extra because you gave me AC when well, again, I know it's only going to cost me $5 a day for AC because I turn it off and I'm gone. We're gone almost all day. So we don't even, so basically it's probably $3 or $4 per night because you only have the AC on in the bedroom. So it's like $5 a day, rarely over five. It's and quite frankly, it's because the newer units are more efficient. If you have an older unit, it's not as efficient. So that's that. But most people have the newer because otherwise they have to keep redoing stuff if you have the older system. So the newer systems are efficient. So oftentimes it's not even five a day, it's under four. It's like $4. It's 4 to 4.50. But I in my head just go, okay, we used it. So I put in like I just put in like $20. And then I just go, okay, that's 4 days. And then I put in the number because you can check with SEPN how much energy's left. So then I go, okay, that's 4 days. So generally on the third day, I'll check. I'll be like, all right, yeah, still got another day. And then I'm like, well, if I pass by one of the machines, then I'll just add some more money. Because I'm like a three night guy. If I stay someplace for the first time, I always go 3 nights. If I don't like the place, then I move. I never stay more than three. And then once I like it, then I'm like, okay, I'll be back or I'll book the more nights. That's what I do. I'm different. That's all. Because I don't like being in a place that looks nice and just the reviews are nice. And you get there and there's issues and then it's like, oh yeah, you can deal with the issues. I'm like, I don't have to. I know I'm I, I'm leaving. I'm just 3 days. I'm out because I don't want to have issues. So that's why I don't book, and especially during low season. I don't even book it during this time of year. If I was there, I would never go this time of year. If I was there, I will wait literally. If I don't like $50 a night, I would just wait last minute. I'll wait like 2 days before because what starts happening is you have this thing about it's a use or lose situation. So, like, I'll put in right now, I'm going to bring this on screen, right? We're going to go to the Dominican Republic and we're going to go. I'm going to do, in fact, I'm going to put in this week, I'll put in the 10th through the 17th. I'm going to do 2 guests, so I'll get all the one bedrooms with the penthouse and everything else. But here's the other catch. Here's the other catch for everybody that's like EV Place. He has a one bedroom penthouse. If he charged $70 per night, right? There's gonna be 2 bedroom Oh, I put in Dominican Republic. Doggone it. I meant Punta Cana. Sorry. There's gonna be people with 2 bedrooms that are gonna charge $70 a night. So he's gonna go, well, I have a one bedroom penthouse. Well, some people are gonna say, well, that's nice, and that far ocean view, nice, but I'd rather have this 2 bathrooms. So I'm gonna pay the $70 a night for the 2 bedroom, which could even be in the same complex. If it probably won't be a 2 bedroom penthouse, I wouldn't think, but you never know. Um, Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You might be in luck. Well, we'll see. You might be in luck. I'm seeing 500 in Bavaro. I'm seeing 521. I'm seeing 524. I'm not seeing any. Oh, wait a minute. I see 291 for 7 nights in Coral Village. Wow. That's right behind La Bruja. They have a 4.6 rating. I think I stayed in this unit before. Let's see. It says, yeah, I think I stayed. But anyhow, it's standard. It's 4 years old. Um, but 291 at Los Corrales, right behind La Bruja, right up the street from Cat's Corner. 5 minute walk to the beach, and a grocery store less than 3 minutes away. So you're in heaven, in my opinion. 291 for the week, 1 bedroom, right at Coral Village. Okay, but everybody else, they're doing five something. That's $70 a night. Okay. So hold on. Let me put this on screen so you guys can see. Hold up. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Share this tab. Here we go. I'll put it back up for you guys. Okay, here you go. So this is going to be the exact question and answer series you asked about. So you go 1 bedroom penthouse, $70 a night. $70 times 70 is $490. You're going to have housekeeping fees. So you too are going to be at 500, and you're going to be back here somewhere. It's back here, as I recall. I think it's right in here where you are. Now, you're competing right here, 2 beds, exclusive. This is Coral Village as well. 505 for 7 nights. Sun, Sand, Serenity. Look. Oh, hold on. Let me do something else. Oh, you guys can see it. Look at this. 516. Once again, 1 bedroom, 4.8. Not a bad rating. Could have ocean view. I don't know. But they're right there at the beach. 521. Oh, El Cordacito, C10. No, this is Los Corrales. C102. Don't know where this is, but it's by the beach. If this area is correct. Nope. This looks like it looks like a Noval property. So I don't know where this. No, I don't. Oh, this is over by. Oh Jesus, what's the name of that place? Playa Beach. Anyhow, it's in Los Corrales. I know where this is. This is yeah, you walk out, you're at the beach, by the way. You're at the beach. So you're looking at 521 at the beach. 578 at the beach. It looks like. We'll see. Yeah, look, beach view from here. So if you so this is where the problem comes in, and you're going to be back here somewhere. Like I don't know exactly where Blue Marlin is. I think it's around here somewhere. I know if I get to international, I think it's right in here somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But now you're seeing where your price for your 1 bedroom penthouse, even though you can see that all these people are charging the same as you are. I'm pretty sure these have fees on them. So I'll pull this up just so we can see the pricing. But this will have the fees on it of 45. So this is going to be around 480, 475. And you're going to go, I'll include the AC for 70. Why? You don't have to. Again, and I don't think you're going to be able to charge for, I don't think 490 or 500 is going to, when they can stay up here for the same price or less. So that's where I come in at. Come on now, where's this at? Okay, here we go. So that just gives you an idea. This is why I have my viewpoints, because this always comes up. And if it's not high season, this is again, even if it is high season, how much can you charge? You're going to go 120, but 120 is going to be $1,000, and I'll get to that in a second, right? But look, 1 bedroom, 2 guests, 1 bath, 129 reviews. Damn, that's a lot. So here, 521, 7 nights, 2 guests. And again, see, they might be doing that 7 night. Yeah, see, discount. What did I tell you? 54. Now you're in the same ballpark as these guys. And that's where the problem comes in. Let's see. There's a problem here. Oh, breakdown. Here we go. They're not talking about housekeeping. So, anyhow, look at this, what I was talking about before. Look at this. Cancel before July 10th. And I put a check in date July 10th. See, this is why last minute people have to reduce their prices, do special deals, because in a 3 days, this is over. So if nobody comes, you lose out on this rental. So that's one of the little things that a lot of people do. They just wait, like me. I'm going to, low season, I wait till last minute. There's no reason for me to pay 575 when I can pay 520, or 650 when I can pay 550. No sense. Because there's going to be plenty of units available. This is why I need tourism to go up. I can't have tourism low. We're investors. All right. Okay, here we go. Not counting custom furnitures from OP, not IKEA. Exactly. Give a shout out um, to my man at OP. We will see. TGIA strategy can be adjusted. I will be fine with 50 per night because I have two of them. Well, yes and no. See, my thing is this. You may be fine for 50 a night, but are you really going to be fine? 7 times 50 is 350. And you're not doing 50% occupancy. So it's a low season, for instance. You have 5 months of definitely low season. So if you only make 700 per month, well, you don't make 700 because you have HOAs. You know what the HOAs are. I don't. I'm assuming you have 50 square meters. I'm assuming they might be $2. I don't know. Maybe it's $75 to $100, but let's just say it's 75 a month. So, you make 275. It is what it is. 5 months at 275 is 1,500. And high season, let's say you are successful at least 100 a night, and you're able to do the 70%. That might be a little more reasonable, right? 21 nights, 2,100. Depending on your management fees, if you have any, you would have to take away 20% at least. If you don't, you don't. But there's a lot of calculations. So is it really going to be worth messing around? Because if you're doing it yourself, is it going to really be worth dealing with guests, check-in, check-outs, housekeeping, and you go, okay, I'm going to make, when it's all said and done, like 1,500? I mean, there's variables. Depends on your tolerance, what you're trying to do. But again, I understand, but I don't like trying to make under 10%. That's the goal for me. That's why I use the 0.1%. So if I buy for 57 and I can rent for 57 or 50, I'll take 50. But I need 50% occupancy as an average. The average for where you're going to be at has a lot more units coming on the market, including your own buildings, actually. Plus other units are coming on market in the next 6 months. We're on par with you, like over by Los Corrales in the same line, same distance from the water. So now you're going to be competing with an additional 400 to 500 units by the end of this year. So that's where we're going. So if I can't get an extra 2,000, 3,000, 4, 10, 20,000 people to be coming to this area, we all are going to have to reduce our rents. Right? That's how it works. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I got into, I love real estate. I've been doing this a long time. There are second bathroom on terrace. Yeah, but everything you're saying, I understand what you're saying. But the penthouse unit in this case, during low season, does not have any real value, in my opinion, because people are going to go, well, I can pay I can pay 500 a night. I can pay less than that too. And I can be at the beach in less than 3 to 5 minutes. And in the case of this one we're looking at, you'll be at the beach in less than 30 seconds. So, um, and the beach club right there is Playa. What is it? Uh Starts with the B. Can't remember. But anyhow, you're right there. You can come out right behind the beach club, and you're at the beach, literally. Music on Saturday and Sundays at the beach club, complimentary, all of that. So um, that's why I'm still considering long term versus short term. I have to deal with those stairs problem. Yeah, man. Yeah, you definitely do, because the way they built those stairs was going to be a hazard. Nobody should be doing those the round stairs on the outside of the building on the edge of the balcony. That's crazy. Long term could be 1K a month and less problems. I don't I don't see how you're going to do 1K per month. The only reason I say that, I'm okay, okay. At Coral Village, the guys were paying uh 1,000 $1,300 a month during high season. They were remote workers. But if they just love Coral Village, right? Because there's hardly anybody there, right? Because all they have is a pool. There's no reason for people to hang around. They just go and leave because not everybody's going to be in the pool. So it's barely noticeable who's ever staying there. But the fact of the matter is, um, I don't know if you can maintain 1K per month, even though it is a one bedroom penthouse in that location. Maybe, yeah, but it's going to be awfully hard to keep somebody there, especially Dominicans won't 1K a month, but again, expats, tourists, they might stay there. They might, but again, you're reaching into another area that I am not definitely not familiar with. Um, so if you can get somebody to pay you 1K a month, you can during high season for sure. I just don't know if you can do it right now when nobody really is there or wants to be there. So we'll see. I understand your point. Thanks for the perspective. EV Place, got to keep it real one way or another. One thing about me is I'll be consistent all the way around. I have set rules because I've been doing this so long. If I have to do I got to do point one of, I got to make, that's the standard. I cannot do, EV has a great opportunity because he bought at 2020 prices, 50 some thousand for a one bedroom penthouse. You cannot get a one bedroom penthouse in Los Corrales, El Cordecito for basically no less than 170. You're going to be over 170. So he's at an advantage. He's going to have an advantage during high season. That's where his advantage comes in. 4 months, December 15th to around April 15th, he's going to have an advantage over anybody that's bought new or in the last since 2023, maybe even 2022. But he's going to have a serious advantage because nobody else will be able to go at 50 or 70 a night. So he's going to run into, he has an advantage also based on, you go to AirBTix, ARBTICS. You used to be able to look up Los Corrales area, and they were at 70% on average during the year. All right. Now, that was before Blue Marlin. That was before Coral Village 2. That was before like a 500 to 1,000 more units that have come online since. So, he's going to have an advantage during high season because that one bedroom penthouse, everybody's damn near booked at their 70%, 21 nights a month. That gives him a huge advantage because he should be able to do like 100 a night easily. 700 for the week easily. That's what's going to happen. As long as we have the tourist numbers at airfare in January, 900,000 people. In February, 800,000 people. In March, 850,000 people. In May, April, 900,000 people. During Easter included on that month. That's the numbers we need for next year. If you get those numbers, then he can charge 100 a night and be good for the whole year because he's going to do 4 months of 2,100. He'll have 8 grand. 557, let's just call it 6 grand, breaks him even at 10%. That's what we want. We want double digits early. The rest of the year will be gravy. We need those 21 nights. So I need $100 per night then. Give me my 2,100, less 3%, less, well, if I have management, less another 400. So now I'm at 1,600. So now I might have to charge 120 like he wants. Will I get it? It depends. You guys want to find out? Let's go find out. Okay, let's go look. How do we find out? 6 months till. We can go look. Look at this. So I will, you know what? I'm going to go Christmas. I'm going to go Christmas. How about that? Let's go. No. The 21st through 28th. How about that? It's not liking it. 20 Sunday to Sunday. Is that prime? That's prime enough for you? Okay. I'm not really expecting that much different in pricing, but we'll see. 100 a night would be 700 a night. 120 a night will be 800 a night, 840. You can see right now, 840. Blue Corral Beachfront Studio is less than 840. Okay, cool. Do we have this on the screen? I doubt it. Let me go pull this up here. There we go. So we're at 840, but now we have Studio 692. Okay, well, let's get up to 8. We're by the beach, 50 meters to the beach. Villa Mare, I'm not familiar with that place. 1,096, 1,033. Again, look, here we are. Yeah, this is a 1 bedroom. I think it's in Coral Village territory. Or is that, no, this is next door. Wait, where is it? That looks like El Dorado. Yeah, that's always cheaper, El Dorado. This looks like, yeah, it is El Dorado. El Dorado has these type of balconies. That's how you know it's El Dorado. That's cheap. I don't recommend, if don't stay there. You don't have to. But we're back at Coral Village at 785. Again, 899 is by the beach. Here we go. Condo Elite Suite A1. Okay. I don't know. But again, you're going to fall into this. You're putting yourself in another guy's area. 849. Again, they might have Ocean View in their unit somewhere on the roof. They're close. 4.93 beach condo with pool, Kana Life luxury. So again, you're going to be batting up against these guys because all you have at Marlin is a pool, fitness room. Well, most places have a pool and fitness room. So that's why you can't just willy-nilly go, well, I'll charge 120 when people are going to be like, well, if I'm going to pay 840 and if you have and housekeeping fees 890, you're putting yourself in harm's way. All right, so Christmas time. So some would say, Eric, forget that. It's Christmas. Most people don't go in Christmas. Airfares are expensive. Let's just go with January. All right, I'll go January 8th. through the 15th, which traditionally has a high tourist rate. But see, here we are again. It already dictates I can't charge 120 for sure. I got way too many people below 600. So even the guys by the water are charging 5 and 1,000. But um, what's this? I mean, yeah, this is majestic apartment, steps from the beach. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But you're gonna have a hard time getting a 120 a night. You can easily see it's not gonna be easy. You're not gonna be able to be at 850, 840. Coral Village 798. Look, there's just way too much. Way too much. Way too much. Yeah, even these are still cheap prices. 457. I mean, that's crazy. 506, 455, 714, 550. There's way too many units, right? And look, we didn't even get down here yet. 860 range. 818, your price range. 778, your price range. 946. Person might say, "Oh, this is the one by the beach again." As soon as you walk out, you're at the beach. Uh, Here goes another one. That's Is that the villa or townhouse? I don't know where this is, but again, you're competing with all these when all you have is a pool and a fitness room. 913, 845. See, it's people's choice at 850. Not so, and again, 913. People are going to make their choices. You could say I have a penthouse, but again, um, you're competing with 1 and 2 bedroom units for the same price. 1 bedroom, 2 bath, ground floor, pool view. Um, so here you go, 860 for 7 nights. This is January. So just keep that in mind. All right, you're in the hospitality business. I just help for other people too, just in case they want to ask any questions. Remote workers need stable internet and independent power source from solar panels. Uh, well, you know what's funny? The guys that were remote workers that were staying at Coral Village, they had no issues. And I will say at Coral Village, the electricity would go out like a 30 minutes to an hour every, I want to say 2 weeks. So, but a lot of these guys also worked in the EU. They were like from overseas around the world. So their time zones weren't the same as DR, which is one of those things. And they were just running straight off of, they just had to do, remote webcam or something, which you could also do on your phone. So even with your electricity off, you're still good. So, I mean, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. Um, but everybody includes Wi-Fi, and so there's no advantage there either. Okay, you were right. 120 is too much, but at 80 high season and 50 low season, I will fill my targets. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. The 0.1%, I go by the numbers. 0.1% is met because I know we're going to do, well, I don't know, but my thinking is the 70% that was from 2024. I'm thinking you're not going to have that occupancy rate. I think it's going to drop. So I think it's going to drop to, if I had my guess, 50% because they're adding hundreds of units have come out since last year. And that's what's reflecting right now. So That's why I think the prices are what they are, because there's an extra few hundred units in that area that came on the market, and you're going to include some more Marlins going to be on the market. So you're going to be in the same boat later. So I don't think the occupancy rate's going to be able to maintain at 70%. Ocean Bay hasn't even come online yet, which is over there, which is crazy. It's taken 7 years. So when they come online, and when Atlanta comes online, well, they won't for another two. But there's other units, like I said, in your line, that's an equal distance to walk to the beach. That's back there. There's like 7 or 8 complexes with 400 and 500 units. I don't. They might even be built by now, because that was like 2 years ago when I was back there. They might start delivering anytime. So by this time next year, you could have another 500 units in that area. And that's where the problem is going to come in, because you don't have anything extra. You have the penthouse, yes, but you don't have any. You can't say anything else. You can't say I have a pool. I think they have a fitness room. I don't remember seeing one, but you can only say I have a pool and I have a terrace. And so now you have to go to the next level. You have to go, okay, my terrace has this. Does that make it special? You would highlight it, right? And if you can see the ocean, that would be a highlight too. But again, 80 seems more. 8 times 8 is six something. You're still going to have people under you, but at least you're not at 8 something. You might even be, again, if I want to stay and maintain occupancy, I'd probably be at 70, because point one meets my criteria. If I can average 60, I'm good. That means I get like, without having management, that means I'm going to be over 15% return at even 50% occupancy. That's what I base mine on. I do 0.1%, 50% occupancy. Do I make double digits? And once the answer is yes, all systems go. All right, here we go. Power outage equals no cable internet. Oh, that's what you're referring to. Starlink will still be working if someone needs constant access. Yeah, I agree with you. But remember, Starlink costs, uh, what is it, 100? Isn't it like 100 and something a month? It's something crazy. But you don't need it, man. Again, you're going to take on the responsibilities that's going to add cost. You don't need to add cost. You don't need to buy the Starlink. You don't need to rent the extra. If electricity goes out, people understand electricity goes out. My Wi-Fi's out. But as you know, everybody in America and around the world has Wi-Fi in DR without buying the you don't even have to buy SIM cards. So I mean, if you need to make phone calls, if you need the Wi-Fi, you have it on your phone from the towers. Unless you don't at Marlin. I mean, then that would be a problem. But don't take upon yourself. I don't recommend. Don't go overboard, man. No need. That's extra cost for you and your guest. 50 per month per Starlink in DR, and I can split it for 2 apartments. Again, it's not needed unless you want it and you want to use that as your main source instead of using a mobile modem. Good. Yeah, don't again, I wouldn't be putting any extra expenses. If you say it's $50 per month, what speed are we talking about? Because I heard it was like 100 and something. But again, DR being 100 and something, most citizens wouldn't be able to afford it if they're only making $900 a month. I mean, what's that going to look like? Paying 100 and some dollars for Wi-Fi, and you only have $700 left to pay your rent and get some food and pay your electric bill. That's crazy. But okay, I understand what you're doing. But now you're going to add the 3K for solar panels. Yeah, 150 megabytes per second is pretty decent. You're going to add the solar panels, which is 3K. Then you're going to have to maintain something. Once again, you're adding built in extra cost if there's a problem. And if it goes out, there's problems. Um, yeah, I don't like, again, if you're doing this strictly for rentals, I don't like any extra liabilities. I'm just saying. You may think it's an extra bonus for people, but if we're talking $50 a month and that's what the Wi-Fi cost, and I can plug it in, the modem goes out, okay. But if you're going to put in Wi-Fi anyhow, and you have the dusty Starlink, yeah, okay, put it up. But again, just keep in mind, if winds get up to X amount, if rain, storm, does whatever, I'm not familiar with the Starlink stuff. Um, you're putting yourself in, repair cost unnecessarily. Okay, here we go. I'm going to stay there for 6 months, a year. I will be able to service the equipment. Okay. All right. Once again, I'm just advising. You can do it however, it's your business, but I'm just advising. There's things that you don't account for, right? And the next thing you know, something it's expenses all the time. Especially if you okay, I'll stop with the jacuzzi thing. Jacuzzi, definite expense. Now you're adding in things that you may not need to add that you're going to have to service for no reason because nobody cares. Long as we have internet, that's all that people care about. If the lights go out, people deal with it. They're like, okay, well, the internet don't work right now. So what? I mean, it's not like a great loss for most tourists because they're just going to go, all right, well, who's got electricity around here? Let's go. Where can we eat at? Where can we get the drinks at? Let's go do something. And if it's nighttime, you're just going to sleep. It's going to be hot though, but nonetheless, that's why you have fans in every freaking room. In tropical zones, fans mandatory. Just because you have AC, you also need ceiling fan mandatory. Thanks for the advices. I do appreciate it. All right, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just letting you know whatever choices you make is fine, but I'm just letting you know from experience, there's no way you want to go with extra fees that's going to pop up for no reason. Even though you go, I can service it. Well, the 6 months you're not there, what are you going to do? Trust me, things are going to happen. People are not nice with your stuff. All right, let's face facts. Everybody knows renters that jack places up. You can go and Google on YouTube or anywhere and find out problems. All right. Run for your lives, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking about real estate in Dominican Republic, which applies to anywhere. You need high tourism numbers. You can't go with a friend of ours who said, oh, I'm going to go invest in Costa Rica. And I'm like, how many tourists do they have a year? And they said something like, oh, yeah, it only has like 7 million a year. Okay. How far is it from the beach? Oh, man, it's like 5 miles from the beach. What about the major city? Oh, it's 2 miles here from the airport. I'm like, man, who told you to buy something like that? For Airbnb or even long term rental? What are you doing? That's the type of stuff that when you're buying assets, you have to go with double digits. Run for your lives. You got 1 year, 5 months to go. The last hour, we've been talking about Airbnb, the do's and don'ts if you're going to be in an area, the price points, but it's very simple. I like keeping it simple. 0.1% of your purchase price needs to be what you can rent it for without a doubt. How do you find out? You do research just like we were doing. You go look right now. You might go, hey, my place isn't going to be built for 2 or 3 years. Well, then, if that's the case, you better care about what the tourism numbers will be in 2 or 3 years. If there's a recession in America and Canada and America has 60+% of all the tourists and they have a 40% drop in tourism, You're going to be losing a couple 100,000 or more tourists not coming to the island every month. That's not good. All right. You need more tourists coming in the next 2 years, and you're going to add a few thousand more units on the island. And I'm not talking about 2 or 3 thousand either. I'm talking about there's going to be like 7,000, 8,000 more Airbnbs on the island in the next 2 years. They're all coming due. All the ones that were going to be built in 2020. It's 6, 7 years later, they're coming. And we're talking about thousands are in the pipeline. So now instead of 125,000 Airbnbs, there's going to be 135 or 140,000 in the next 2 years. It's going to get ugly. And if you don't increase tourism by another 3 million, then everybody's going to be sitting there drowning. Oh, well, not everybody. All the people that bought at the wrong more than 0.1%. And then they didn't do their homework and find out that, like we just did, there's no way you're going to rent in Bavaro, in Los Corrales, El Cortecito. Somebody says, I have a 2-bedroom and I'm selling it for $250,000. Did anybody see any place that said $1,800 a week? There was none. Zero. The most was around $1,199. There might be an outlier somewhere, but you're not going to be getting much rentals unless you're in some sort of awesome project that has amenities or right by the beach. You're not getting 1,800 or 1,600 or 1,500. So why would you buy something for 250? That would mean 0.1% means I need to rent this for 250 a night at 50%. That's for me to reach my 10 double digits. If I rent that out and I can't get 250 a night and I got to charge like 150 a night, which is what it looks like right now, well, good luck, because you're going to need like a 70, well, you're going to need a occupancy rate that doesn't exist. You're going to need like over 70%. That doesn't exist anymore. All right, so good luck. It's all the number game when you invest, ladies and gentlemen, just like in stocks, just like in anything else, in businesses. I'm going to roll out of here. I've been on here 3 hours, almost 4 hours. It's a long night, but I appreciate it. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll be back. I got sidetracked for the last hour, but run for your lives, because it's going to be bad. In 1 year, 5 months is what you have. Look down below in the description box. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like what we're talking about. Let me get some water before we go, but I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years, and I love feedback. So even after this is on replay, if you have any feedback to what I was having a conversation about, then make comments down below. It's all enlightening. We don't have a fear of, hey, you're wrong. No fear. Just say, hey, you're wrong. I don't agree. This is why. It's good. Investors talk. You guys don't realize there's a reason why the rich guys all have a meeting, right? Because they're like, hey, man, I'm doing this deal. Another guy goes, hey, you can do the deal this way to maximize your money. Another guy goes, hey, man, forget about that. Why don't we just do it this way? Because we can get 1% interest only for 15 years. Why are you using your own money? Another guy. I mean, everybody has influence. You just never know. Everybody has different thought processes, which sharpens iron, sharpens iron. That's why it's always great when you have interaction. So if you have comments, always leave them. Ask questions, no problem. See you guys on Wednesday night, the Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. We'll see what's going to happen over the next couple of days with the new tariff situation, especially since the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, he came out officially last week and said we would have already reduced the Federal Reserve rate if we didn't have this tariff unpredictability. Like I told everybody, The markets like it when everything's calm. They don't like the turmoil unless you're with Yomax ETF and with these option income ETFs. We love the turmoil. All right. Yeah. See, like right now, Trump announces steep tariffs on 14 countries starting August 1st. See, this is not good. These type of announcements make the market go down, so you have to take advantage of it. It meets your 52-week low, you buy more. If you need to get into some free stocks and you haven't opened up an account at Robinhood, Webull, or Moomoo, use the links down below. I'll just tell you right now, Robinhood gives you 1 free share of stock, no deposit. Webull, you need a deposit to get 5 to 15 free shares, depending on the promotion. And Moomoo, you got to wait 60 days and you have to deposit $100 or more in order to get the free shares of stock. They give you 5 or whatever the promotion is, just so you guys understand. Now, I'm sitting here looking, and overnight, the futures is just negative 40 points for Dow, up 0.25 for the S&P futures. NASDAQ futures is plus 27.5. So we're talking about 0.12%, 0.001%. So it's not even worth talking about. They're waiting for, you guys know, I believe the jobs report comes out, or should be, or did it already come out? I think it's coming out. Let's see. No, there's nothing here about it. So something has to be coming out this week. Tesla loses 68 billion. You guys got to love that. All you, whether you're doing a Tesla short or not, we love it because we are in TSLY and we love volatility because people are selling selling their options. That's fees. That's premiums. We like fees and premiums. That's how we get paid our dividend. So we like that. They're going to recover. All because he's launching a political party. What's that got to do with him losing? He lost $68 billion in value today. That's crazy. Or Tesla did, not him. That's significant. Pelletier. Oh, wow. It's at 139. Holy smokes, a rocket ship. That's what happens when you have the ear of the president and getting government contracts. And they're not just any government contracts. This is spyware. This is checking on the United States citizens, facial recognitions, fingerprints, internet hacking, all of it. Just so you guys know, it's bad news. All right. Well, again, good talk as always with you. Thank you for bringing it up, man, because this helps other people when we talk these real estate things, because there's a lot of people that got caught up in the listening to these other YouTube and Twitch and Facebook groups and telling people in 2000 to go in the middle of the desert and buy Airbnbs. You'll make a unlimited amount of money. And then they listen to that craziness. And I'm like, don't do it. And then they found out that high season is like 3 months during the year. The rest of the time it's warm. Hardly anybody ever goes there. And the county made restrictions on Airbnb at the same time. And now people bought homes and did all kind of crazy stuff. Crazy disaster. That was people getting out crazy. All right, let's go. TSLY this week. That's right. Don't forget to put your limit orders in exactly. Hey, like we talked about last week, I think my dollar cost average was 8.19. So I need to get under $8. That'll increase my yield, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we're good right now. In fact, just so I'll know, I'll go check it out right now. TSLY, just so everybody knows, that's a Yomax ETF. Check it out yourself. Let's go here. TSOY stock. TSO. Never mind. TSOY stock. What is it? Oh, man, this is going too slow. Hold on a second. Let me get this off. Stop sharing. Okay. That was good going through memory lane. Ooh, $7.66. Oh my. Holy smokes. Are we kidding right now? $6.91 is the 52-week low, and the 52-week high is $18, which you'll never go back up to that. But oh my. This is going to, this is even below the 768 at the beginning of July when Musk and Trump got into their little spat. Oh, this is below that. Oof. And this is minor. He didn't even do anything. Just because you announce you're going to be like forming another political party, who cares? Just one of the richest dudes on the planet willing to spend $500 million. He's got about what, 150,000 more $1 million stacks. So I don't think he's going to care about 50 stacks out of about another 150,000 of them. So I don't understand why people are acting like this is a crime scene. The crime scene was when he was off playing in the government when he should be running corporations. I don't think he's going to be off playing with the American political party if that's what it's called. That doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to do. He's not a politician. So anyhow, we're going to wrap it up. 775 right now. Oh, it's rising. Okay, well, I got to get me some. I've got some at 767. Damn, that would have got me under my, if I'd have bought enough, that would have got me under my $8. But anyhow, I'm going to be under 8 anyhow, if it's 775 right now. It's going to rise back up. That was a travesty. Once again, we got to love this because option income money is being traded. Got to love it. All right. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm talking about. And see you on Wednesday night at 8:50 p.m. Thank you so much. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And that's why when we're talking about this title, Run for Your Lives, assets that pay you is needed ASAP, it's literal. You got 1 year, 5 months, according to me. Who's me? Oh, just a guy that invests, been in business for, I don't know, 40 years. And I've never done the stock market at this type of individuals. I've known normally with the VOO, the VTI, the VGT, that Vanguard groups. I used to be back in the day with the Fidelity groups, with a bunch of different the Franklin Templeton group, the Franklin group, they merged Templeton group. I mean, it's crazy. But again, these guys were treating people nice, 13%, 14%, that type of thing. But now it's a little different. You can still do the ETFs. And now we have different vehicles that can get you a higher return in a shorter period of time. If somebody tells you I can get 35% or 60%, you should listen. YieldMax ETF is what you should check out, along with Defiance Group. Check those out. 20 to 25 or 30% distributions of dividends based on what your purchase price is. So when you have a low purchase price like this, and you can get yourself 60% or 45 or 50, that's pretty good. All it takes is a year of 50% and another year of about 25%, and you've doubled your money. I know it seems kind of wild, doesn't it? Don't worry, the power of 72. Okay? Just remember that, especially when you're reinvesting every month. Aha. Think about it. So make sure down below in the description box here on YouTube, other places may be able to see some things down below as well. But you want to help your credit get debt restructured without filing bankruptcy? Go look down below. Tracy at Resolve Finance is the email address. TARCY at resolvefinance.com. Let her know you came from the SS of Nation. This is why you always keep pen pads and papers. You want to improve your credit? Then see Smart Credit Monitoring System that helps you by letting you know what day of the month you should be paying to reduce your increase your credit scores. All three credit bureaus. FICO 8 for a car is on there. Your hiring index score is on there. Insurance, is on there. That's monitoring, and it helps you with identity fraud. As long as everybody in your house has the same address as you, they're covered under identity theft and fraud coverage up to, I think it's $1 million. Go check it out. The link is down below for Smart Credit. And if you want to boost your score a little bit, try to improve it, there's also some trade lines, but it's not the trade lines you think. It's just installment trade lines. So it helps you add positive payment history every month. Simple kind of thing. And there's more. All right. Sign up with our social media as well. I thank you guys very much. Very nice to see everybody here, and I appreciate everybody. Just make sure a rising tide lifts all boats. You need to be the CEO of your life. By the way, this is Gear. CEO of My Life is actually one of the t-shirts we have as well. It's not just a slogan, it's real life. And just remember, no matter what you do, try to do the best, be the best, because it's hard out here. There's a lot of people trying to take things away from you when you come up, when you go down. But just make sure you do one thing and one thing only. Keep your head up, keep moving. And I'm